We forgot something.
We did forget something.
Lights.
Be right back.
It was bound to happen.
Surely.
Welcome, everybody, to the Robot Rampage League. We messed up. Like we always do.
Fucking plug that one in.
Yeah.
Boop.
There we go. That's better. Turn that one down a little bit.
Fucking what?
Hit the minus button.
Fuck you too. Boop. Boop.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. We're finally ready.
Yeah, now we're ready. Anyway, welcome to the playoffs.
It is the finals, the end of the Robot Rampage League season. How is everybody doing in the chat? Welcome to the final stream of the season. World's most amateurish YouTube streamers. It would not be a live stream if there were not technical problems. That's how it works.
I also wouldn't wager that we're streamers either.
No. Closing stages of Formula One. Yeah, aren't they like totally fucking everything up because it's Singapore?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's the playoffs.
It is the playoffs. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
Somebody is going to have their name etched upon the coveted Golden Saw Blade.
Absolutely. Who do you have, chat, going all the way and winning the championship? Who are you predicting? Welcome, Zester. Welcome to Mobris and Visiting Ain't Easy. Maz, oh my god, RA2 real. Yes, there's an actual Golden Saw Blade
Yes, we have
for
an actual one.
the champions. It's not actually going anywhere, it's a prop.
No, we're just gonna we'll have the team name etched onto it. Though.
Yes, we're going to have a championship Golden Saw Blade.
Yep.
Somebody's predicting the Supernovas to win.
Somebody is predicting the Supernova. Well, who would ever do that? Not me.
C4, Pelagic, No Beanie, Jubilife. There's a lot of really good teams in the finals. I'm repping my team in the playoffs. You're repping.
I'm repping Heavy Metal, so we'll see how they do.
Right. What do we have for notes?
We have some awards to hand out before we get started.
Oh yes, awards. Season awards.
Yes. So we're going to open up with all of the fan-voted ones that were up on the YouTube polls and everything in the Discord.
Yes, all of these were voted on by the fans and the viewers.
Yes.
And so we were a little bit surprised by some of them.
Some of them are a little interesting. Some of them are pretty obvious.
Personally, I was expecting Breach to sweep every one of them.
Yes, 100%.
But that's not what happened. So
yeah, so the most entertaining robot, as voted on by you guys, was Breach.
Breach.
Pretty unsurprising. Although, fucking Geohash almost beat it.
How?
I don't get it. It's a lightweight with the snowplow, but it's fucking cool.
It's a pacifist.
I don't know. I love the thing, too. The coolest robot was actually a tie between two robots. It was between Big Boar and Geohash.
Big Boar, I totally understand. Big Boar looks cool. It's got the
love that thing.
The like oil drill thing on the front of it.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Love Big Boar. How the hell did Geohash get coolest? It's just a blue snowplow.
I mean, you know, hey, performances can be cool too. So it did that full body flip. That's pretty neat. The Glass Cannon Award, the PP3D Award as we like to call it, goes to Remote Control from No Beanie Robotics because it led DPS in the middleweights for like half the season and had like maybe 5 wins.
Yeah, it either killed quickly or was killed quickly.
Yeah,
there was no in between.
A little surprised Kang from the Invaders did not win that because its stats are a little insane.
Yes.
The Best Paint Award for the overall aesthetic on a robot goes to Baron of Hell from the Hellraisers.
The whole Hellraisers team has great aesthetics.
Yes, I loved Baron of Hell's theme when we saw it too.
But yes, I love
really good.
I especially love how aggressive and low and flat.
Yes,
the whole robot looks, and the paint just completes that. Yeah,
really good. The Best Fight Award. I'm sure many of you have some opinions on this, but somewhat unsurprisingly, it goes to Rosewater versus Breach.
Yeah.
That was a classic RA2 flipper versus flipper battle.
Yeah, and that's the kind of fights that we try to have in the Robot Rampage League, where they just go back and forth and you have no idea who's going to end up winning.
It was fantastic.
One of the best fights of the season.
And we go from best fight to the derpiest moment.
Yes.
You want to know who went full derp the most according to the fans? It was Boolean throwing itself out of the arena with pistons.
Yes.
I
The
believe
only
that was,
unassisted self ring out.
yes, entirely.
One of the things I've been doing all season, every time we have a ring out, I'm putting it into a video project to do an every ring out of the season video again. And my absolute favorite part of that is Boolean throwing itself out and you saying, "What the fuck are you high?"
Yeah. Just the most random
Such
shit.
a great moment.
And the most popular team, as voted on by the fans, is the Anthracite Colliers. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm happy that the Colliers got that.
Yeah, they're a really cool team, and I really like what they did.
Everybody likes the Colliers.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard, not any point in the chat, in Discord, I have not seen anybody say they don't like the Colliers.
Yeah,
So
they're fantastic.
very well-deserved award.
Also, the fact that Night Vale almost won that award, too. That's a little alarming.
Well, I mean, Night Vale does weird stuff.
They do weird shit, so they could rig the votes in their sleep, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. So, those were the fan-voted awards.
Mm-hmm.
We will get to the league-decided awards
Yes.
in the second half.
Yes.
Those were awards that were either stats-based or chosen by the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
Stuff like best design, best newcomer, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, we'll get to that in the second half of the stream. Zester, thanks to everyone who voted for Breach. Yes.
Yeah, so Breach was lovely.
All of the teams in the playoffs have been lovely this season.
Honestly, yeah. Like,
They've been
they're all great.
very fun to watch.
Mhm.
So, do we have any other notes?
Now I think it's time to kick off the first step ladder of the stream.
No, it is not.
This is true, it is not.
It is time to discuss last stream's results.
So this might shock you, since I wasn't here, I totally forgot last week happened.
You know, that's how I felt every time that you soloed. We had some judges' decisions. The best one, the most important one, in the top left, One Father and Hello World, went to a judge's decision. And it was a complete stomping.
It was entirely.
But it won the match for the Tennessean Syndicate and ended the undefeated streak of the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs.
Mhm.
So that was an incredibly important judge's decision despite being one-sided.
Absolutely.
Our final standings for the regular season for Divisions 1 and 2. The top 4 from each division are in the playoffs. It is a stepladder format. So number 4 and number 3 fight. They fight number 2, and then they fight number 1. Jubilife City Jigglypuffs have dominated this season, but they've also never faced anybody from Divisions 3 and 4.
I haven't, no.
And we've got some really, really good, capable teams in the playoffs. So I'm very happy to see the Plagic Wanderers up so high. They did a great job this season.
Yes, they did.
Getting the number 1 seed on a tiebreaker for match or fight wins. And then standings for 3 and 4. Nobini Robotics finally pushed Sinister Creations out of number 1.
Yes, this is the first time they have dropped below first place all season.
14 weeks at number 1, and then they dropped to number 2 seed.
And they would be like the 4th seed in every other division, too.
Yeah. C4 Circus made a hell of a run. All the way up to
2 perfect weeks in a row?
All the way up to number 1 seed. They were sitting 3rd almost the entire season.
Yes.
And everybody thought, okay, it's going to be between Pink Chaos and the Moscow Mantines, and then C4 just put on the best final third of the season and took the number 1 seed. So
also interesting that we might not have picked up on at first. The Circus has only lost 1 match total. They had a couple of more draws than like Jubilife. Like they have the same losses as Jubilife though, so they're actually pretty even. That could be our finals matchup, honestly.
I appreciate this comment from Nitro. A step ladder isn't that just a ladder? No.
Not really.
Because technically you can climb ladders without stepping on them. The step ladder is specifically for stepping on.
Yes.
Also, typically in the US, step ladders are short. But anyway. Overheard GeoHash got an award. Yes. GeoHash was tied for coolest.
Yes, GeoHash was tied for coolest.
To see Rotterdam and Sanctuary made the playoffs. Yeah, Rotterdam was kind of one of the underrated teams to sneak in.
Yeah, they were very quietly winning. They weren't maximizing points as much, but they were winning a lot of fights at the end.
GeoHash is one of the robots ever. Yes, that was how I felt when I made it. All right, I see Hex in the chat. Let's get to the robot fighting. First, we're going to thank our Patreon stream sponsors, which we have a new one.
Yes, we do.
We have Stonefall has joined us. This is a $10 a month tier on Patreon. All season, these fantastic people have been supporting the league and making it possible for us to keep the lights on and pay the internet bill and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much to all of our fabulous stream sponsors this season for supporting us. It's very much appreciated. And now it is time to do some robot fighting.
We will be opening up with the Division 1 step ladder first.
Yes.
We're going to be kicking things off with the West Elizabeth Warbears, the 4th seed out of Division 1, and they will be taking on Halifax Supernovas, who are 3rd seed.
Yes. Okay, chat. The first playoff in the second season of Robot Rampage League. Who do you have? We have Ursa Minor in the lightweights for the West Elizabeth Warbears with the asymmetric spinner. Halifax Supernovas have Tycho with the front hinged flipper. Who do you predict to win this one and put the first points on the board in the postseason?
As we saw in Week 4, Tycho was able to keep Ursa Minor stopped and wail on it with that singular spike strip. Also notably, in Week 4, this was a shutout victory for the Supernovas, 9-0.
Ooh,
So
they gotta...
the Warbears have some work to do, although they are known for their KO efficiency.
Yeah, and the Supernovas are the least damaging team in the entire league.
Yes.
So, no Tennessee and Syndicate at the beginning feels odd. They are much higher up in the seeding. So, they come a little bit later. All right. Chat is split a lot on Tycho's side because of their past history. So, let's get this match underway. Ursa Minor gets its weapon up to speed and slams into the side of Tycho. Tycho's not able to get that weapon stopped, but it is getting Ursa Minor upside down.
Already been able to get it flipped over. Another big hit on it there.
Tycho's taking chassis damage from that spinner as it's going around and around. So Ursa Minor tries to self-right.
Another big hit on the side from Ursa.
Yeah, Ursa Minor's
work on that right side.
doing a lot of damage to the right side of Tycho here.
Has now been inverted once more.
Tycho's trying to get Ursa Minor against the wall to stop that spinner.
Either stop the spinner or try to get that iron spike tooth off of it.
Oh, pushing Ursa Minor into the grinder.
Ooh, fantastic strategy.
That is a knockout with 2:17.
43 seconds. That is a very quick 3 points for the Supernovas, a team not known for getting very many knockouts.
That is big for the Supernovas. You don't want to give the Supernovas lots of points because they are good at keeping control of their robots and keeping getting those wins.
Yes.
So, middleweights.
Mm.
This was not looking good for the Warbears.
This is not looking good, but this could also be could be a nail in the coffin for the Supernovas because in their Week 4 matchup, Grismo did its usual thing of sludging its way out of the arena for a ring out. That's only 2 points.
Tactical Sludgefest?
Yeah, and like if the Warbears get 2 knockouts, if they can bank on their heavy and super heavies to get those points up, they could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really the key here for Kepler is to get a knockout and keep Grismo in the arena.
Yeah, Kepler needs to avoid... Well, see, they've got a problem, because if they turn sideways to avoid the Sludgefest, then they take a bunch of spikes directly to the chassis.
They do, yeah.
So, chat's on Kepler's side calling for another Sludgefest. Let's see if it's a tactical Sludgefest.
What do you got, Grismo?
Grismo charges straight over the top.
4-second tactical Sludgefest.
Kepler with 0 damage points caused. And a ring out. So,
most notably, that is only 2 points.
it's now 5-0, and the Warbears must get KOs from here.
They just might have the robots for the job.
They just might be able to do
They're
it.
known for it.
You know, the last time these two fought, the Supernovas got 3 ring outs.
They did.
Could that happen again?
It is very possible, although notably, if Halifax does win this fight, the match is straight over.
Yeah.
It is a sweep.
So,
But Warbear over here has gotten 7 knockouts on the season out of 10 wins, so...
who do you got for Warbear versus Progenitor, chat? How many Sludgefest is that now? For Grismo, I think that's 4th or 5th.
Sludgefest particularly, I'm not sure, because it did get legitimately wrung out at least once. And I think if you combine Panther, it's probably had like 8 or 9 this season.
Yeah, I think they were pretty even on Sludgefest.
We can total up in the UDA video.
Interestingly, nobody on the Supernovas has the ring out record.
No, they don't. Just as a team, they just amass so many.
Helen, you joined at the perfect time. Did you miss any Sludgefest? Yes. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Let's get the heavyweight fight started, and the Warbears must get a KO here. They have any
Progenitor
hope.
has the ring out potential, but can it do it in time?
And Warbear goes straight over the wedge and is now upside down, and Progenitor is not firing those flippers, taking a ton of damage from those side axes.
Now it's getting those.
Got
flippers up.
Warbear
Another
upside
big
down and
toss.
thrown it into the grinder.
It's got it pressed up there, but just kind of
Warbear is hung up on the wall.
A couple more big tosses from the Halifax flipper.
Now, Progenitor's got to be careful not to damage itself on the grinder, which it
I think it lost at least one.
one of those flipping panels.
Still staying on top of Warbear, not really letting it get settled. Now it has, though.
And Warbear's gotten under those flipping arms.
Progenitor's now ridden up the underside of Warbear.
Is it trying to get Warbear stranded?
It might, because Warbear it's because of how front heavy it is, it gets stuck there.
Yes, that's happened to Warbear once before. Progenitor's going to get around to the side and get back under Warbear.
It's only got, 3 flippers remaining, so it can still move it, but it can't really get those big tosses for a ring out here.
Yeah, and it's taken a lot of chassis damage. Warbear
There was some of the
continuing
side
to
armor.
pound away at the sides of Progenitor. And now the underside.
Yeah, those ram plate wheel guards don't quite reach around the front of the wedge there, so...
Progenitor gets free.
Ooh,
It's
but now
been
it's gotten
trapped against
cornered.
the wall. And now smoke pouring out of the Canadian flipping robot.
Only 2 of its flippers are remaining.
It doesn't seem to have the power to get Warbear over as it's now taking control board hits. This could be big if Warbear can get these last couple hits, and it has.
Does.
122 left, and the Warbears have life. They might be able to turn this around.
Oh boy.
Bear hug victory, says Dysphoria. Well, our first playoff match is
Coming down to the wire.
coming down to the wire. Warbears need a knockout to win. Or, technically, so in the regular season, there can be a draw.
Yes.
Can't have draws in the playoffs. We have to have a winner. So if there's a draw on points, damage points decide the winner.
Yeah, and after that big damage day from Warbear, and considering they're up against the least damaging team in the league,
The Warbears have a good shot, even if they get a draw.
yeah.
So, chat. Event Horizon or Smashy McSmash Face? They seem to be on Smashy's side. It didn't go well for Smashy last time.
No, it was a very efficient ring out from Event Horizon, but this Smashy McSmash Face 2 has been deadly when it gets under stuff.
Absolutely.
Also, what a turnaround for Smashy. It went from a bottom-dwelling team to a playoff contender now.
Yeah,
And it
Smashy
contributed
had the
heavily.
record for the most consecutive losses from last season.
Mhm.
So, pretty cool. Hello, Blackbird. Here we go to decide the outcome of this first match and who moves on to face the number 2 seed.
Opening collision. Benefits
Smashy-
Event Horizon.
Smashy
Briefly.
went up the wedge and ended up underneath Event Horizon, and now Event Horizon's throwing itself on top of
And it's
Smashy
gotten
McSmash
inverted.
Face. It's been flipped over. Smoke is
Pinned
pouring
up
out of
against the
Event
wall,
Horizon.
too.
And Smashy is smashing Event Horizon to pieces.
18-second knockout, and that is the Warbears through.
The Warbears have beaten the higher seeded team. They learned their lessons from the regular season, and the Warbears move on to fight the Pinwheel Pulsars. E57 says they needed the KOs, and they got them.
Absolutely. They knew what they were doing there.
All hail Smashy. Yes, Smashy McSmashface.
Coming in clutch when the Warbears needed it.
Okay. So now, they don't get any rest at all. Right back in the ring against the Pulsars. Boss says Smashy's got to be most improved. There's been some really good improvements from robots from last season.
Definitely.
So, definitely a contender.
Also got to agree with Nitro, the tactical sludge fest. That's what the difference was, yeah.
Yeah.
Supernovas weren't able to block it, unfortunately.
And that's one of the unique aspects of this league is defense and strategy is important.
Yeah, it is actually.
As you can see, take a tactical loss to get an overall win. All right, chat. So, number 4 seed versus number 2 seed, we have Ursa Minor, the horizontal spinner, against Nightmare Fuel with the pinball flipper style side axes that come out from the center of the robot. Nightmare Fuel has been deadly as hell this season.
Absolutely.
Who do you got winning this one? Cora says the repairs are made with magic rather than duct tape and spanners. Hey, you don't know. It could be magical duct tape and spanners.
Should be. With how this game's pieced together, yeah, probably. Well, it's more like hopes and prayers, honestly.
Yeah. They say any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, but I would say also any buggy enough technology.
Yes.
Chat is back and forth, but mostly on Nightmare Fuel's side. So let's go ahead and get this match underway. Can the Warbears run the ladder? Ursa Minor gets itself up to speed. Massive
Immediately got
collision
knocked
with
over from
Nightmare Fuel, and Nightmare Fuel's
Straight to a grinder.
thrown Ursa Minor into a grinder upside down, like throwing a pinball. And Ursa Minor is struggling to get out of that corner. It's taken massive amounts of damage. And Nightmare Fuel backed away. Is that going to be a mistake. Oh no, it's lopped the weapon off of Ursa Minor now. Completely.
Yeah, I think it's just a disc. Now a wheel yeeted into the distance.
And that's a 30-second knockout.
Very quick 3 points for the Pulsars.
And notably, quite a lot of damage in the lightweights.
Yep, that could come into play if there's a tie.
Blackbird, I was here last week and forgot you took a break. Yeah, that was kind of important because I was at work and you were on vacation.
Yeah.
So would have been quite difficult for you to do the stream from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Nightmare Fuel, the unhugger of worlds. Botbuster asks, did the lads make the playoffs?
They did not know.
No, the lads missed out.
They dropped down to 6th. Had a rough ending to the season, too, because they had to face the Circus.
Yeah, #1 seed at the end. Difficult. They did a pretty good job during the season, though. It was entertaining.
Yeah,
team.
they had some good robots in there.
So, Grismo, 4-wheel drive rammer against Vika, the Whipper, which has the stationary weapons on the side, and the whole robot turns and brings him into play. Vika's been incredibly efficient at taking out wheels this season. So who do you got for this middleweight fight? Chat, Pulsars are up by 3, so Grismo needs to get some points here.
So notably, these two fought in Week 7 earlier this season. And not only did the Pulsars win, but they locked up 6 points in the first 2 fights. So the Warbears are really going to need to also pile on damage points so they have a chance if there's a tiebreaker in the end.
Yeah. Helen asking about another Sledge Fest. That would be incredible if there was a Sledge Fest off of Vika.
I mean, sludge grip rolled over the top of a plus-shaped robot, so like...
Well, let's see if Logan's correct and Vika pleases the Wheel Goddess. Here we go. And the Warbears do another come-from-behind match win as Grismo bounces right over the weapons of Vika and
briefly caught a wheel.
Got a wheel. So, Vika trying to come in and exercise some aggression as Grismo backs away and dodges an attack. Not really able to get through Vika's wall of weaponry.
Got to be a little more strategic lining up those rams.
Trying to get around behind Vika when Vika oversteers, but Vika's gotten one of Grismo's front wheels now.
And the other left side wheels. Now Grismo cannot ram.
And pretty soon it's not going to be able to move as Vika takes all the wheels off of Grismo.
Just going right around that weaponry and de-wheeling the Warbear.
Now is Vika going to go for the knockout? It appears to be their strategy here.
Trying to go around the sides of those components.
Racking up all the points that they can in the event of a tiebreaker and get the most points out of it possible for a knockout. Fucking surgical, says Maz. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Vika's game plan, honestly. Just reach around and get all the wheels as soon as possible.
It's one of the things that I love about Vika as a robot is it has like a ton of weapon spam, but it doesn't use it to just brutalize the opponent.
No,
it like surgically takes
its
wheels.
time. And then now once it's got a de-wheeled robot, it can go in and take its time getting the knockout.
Yeah.
Although, with Grismo pinned up against the wall, I'm not sure Vika's going to be able to go in there and get it.
No, the robot's a little too wide to steer and get in there, so Vika's going to take the TKO over Grismo. Dysphoria asks, is this hockey? I don't remember hockey involving multiple sticks from, one robot.
That's hockey on hard mode.
Yeah. A lot of damage points from Vika.
Also a decent amount from Grismo, so that at least keeps them vaguely in it.
Hey, guess which team was just down 5-0 and
came
back to win?
The Warbears know how to come back in a fight, so I would not count them out just yet. Do not disregard our Lord and Savior that is Smashy McSmashface.
This is true. But first, Warbear has to handle 2 robots at once.
Oh boy.
Captain Mantine says the thing I dislike about the robot is even if Grisbo still had wheels, its weapon couldn't do anything because of how iron spikes work.
I don't think Mantine saw Vika lose to Trishula, who only had 1 iron spike left at the end of that fight.
Yeah. You just got to get the spikes into the right place.
Or maybe get the right geometry, yeah, that's all you need.
This is the one that got swallowed by stream shenanigans, says Nitro.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
either.
it was week 7. Yeah, that week fucking sucked. Sorry, I neuralized that out of my brain very quickly.
Well, we have Warbear, the side axis, against Leslie and Gale. Leslie, the 360-degree horizontal spinner, the murder lesbian, as she's effectively known, and Gale, the rear hinge flipper. Front hinge flipper, rear hinge flipper. It's a flipper of some kind. What is going on with my... There it is.
Good job.
Yeah. Who you got, chat? Leslie and Gale or Warbear here? Finish Leslie's lightweight conversion. I appreciate that. Leslie is in talks with the NYC Pride for next season.
It has been quite the murderous lesbian this season. Whether that's to the opponent or whether that's to Gale, it depends on its mood, I guess.
Murders anything that
Very
moves.
bipolar murderer.
Yes. Leslie and Gale to double team Warbear.
Main key here is because it is a multi-bot, Warbear will need to knock out both of them to get the full 3 points.
Yep. And that's something Warbear can struggle with because it's not particularly fast. So let's see if this is the end of the match or if the Warbears can come back from behind again. Warbear
Goes right up Gale's wedge.
went up the wedge. It didn't steer properly to line up. Leslie is upset at Gale taking the glory and is now charging in at Warbear and getting itself stranded.
Kind of pinning the side axe over here, though. They're going to need to back up.
Gale backs away and drags Warbear away from the wall.
But because of how front-heavy Warbear is, it can't get on the floor and drive.
Leslie cutting the wheel off of her teammate once again.
Somehow slid up Warbear while it was upside down. All right, that's different.
I think Leslie is actively fighting against her team here.
I didn't know the Warbears negotiated here. Like, hey, give us a hand.
Leslie attacking Gale, attacking
huge
Warbear.
hit there, though.
Took the weapon right off the side.
There was a control board shot on Warbear, though. It's got to be very careful now.
I'm not sure how careful Warbear can be while it's stranded with its wheels off the floor.
Yeah, and given that Leslie appears to be entangled within Warbear, I believe this is a pin that requires a restart.
That is a restart, because those robots are stuck together. Well, Leslie has let her strategy be known. And so is that going to change the outcome here?
This time Warbear stalemates with Gale, but Leslie came in to make it fire, and now Gale's been able to slide underneath Warbear.
And Leslie lopped one of those side axes straight off. So Leslie actually being extremely useful for the multi-bot pair as it attacks the rear of Warbear again.
Gale's getting the rest of the side
throwing
axe
the parts across the ring. Warbear shoves Leslie against the wall, but Leslie just bounces on top. Can Warbear break a count here? It's got a robot touching its wheels.
It was just able to.
Gale's taken a lot of damage here. Warbear's lost all of its weaponry, though.
Just got that spike wedge remaining.
And now it's got to somehow deal with these two.
Ooh, a huge toss from
What
Gale
a
that
toss
time.
from Gale.
Leslie's unhappy about that.
And throws herself into the grinder.
Although, with Warbear propped up against the wall, it looks as though the Pulsars are going to take the guaranteed win and seal the matchup right now.
And that is 3 straight fight wins. 146 left on the clock.
Was it 146?
I think that said 146.
Yes, it did.
And that is a 7-0 win for the Pulsars to move on to the division championship. And I need to do math. 1989, a good year.
Was it though?
No, it wasn't. And so, there's no need for a super heavyweight fight.
Nope, because that is a definitive 7-0 match win for the
'Cause-
Pulsars. So
Warbears can't get anything out of that other than 3 points, and it'd be 7-3. They'd still lose. So, we move on to the Division 1 championship.
yes,
It's the Pinwheel Pulsars, the number 2 seeds, against the number 1 seeds, the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs.
this is the matchup right here.
Say they want to see Smashy again. Well, the Pulsars are going to have to make it to the super heavyweight fight here. Okay, Nightmare Fuel in the lightweights for the Pulsars. It's fighting Y2K, the kind of front hingy, axy sword robot from the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs. Not particularly dangerous in terms of weapon power.
No, but it wins all the fucking time, just out of
It's
pure
just
control.
such a good wedge.
I believe it has the most judges' decision victories out of all lightweights, with 5. It was at a perfect record winning all its decisions too.
Yeah. Y2K is classic BattleBots incarnate. Wedge until winning a decision. Steve-O once played Melee against a Jigglypuff main. And it was traumatic. Yeah, Jigglypuffs, don't fuck with them.
You know, that makes sense as to why the Jubilife is so cancerous almost. It's a Jigglypuff, of course it's going to be.
Well, chat's on Nightmare Fuel's side here.
I mean, I think it's got a good chance to carve up the front of Y2K, but we'll see.
So can the Pulsars get an early lead against the number 1 seeded team? Nightmare Fuel fires and just kind of bouncing away from Y2K, who's attacking the top of Nightmare Fuel's chassis. It's got the wedge underneath and their wheels off of the floor.
Yeah, Nightmare Fuel had Y2K got in there as Nightmare Fuel's pinball axes were retracting.
It did damage the sides of Y2K a little bit, but took a ton of damage in the process.
Ooh, huge hit impact there from Nightmare
Yes,
Fuel.
Nightmare Fuel finally able to get those weapons into play, and now it's pinching Y2K as a crusher again.
It's going to do a lot of crushing damage over time, but Y2K is trying to get that sword into that back chassis.
Yeah, Y2K just chopping away, trying to end Nightmare Fuel early, as Nightmare Fuel just digs into those sides.
There's a lot of smoke pouring out of Y2K now.
Will that affect their ability to swing that sword? 'Cause that's right where that weapon motor is.
It's able to swing it there, but it's retracting very slowly now. Control board hits
Control
now.
board hits as Nightmare Fuel bounces on the wall.
Was able to get free. Misfired once more.
And he gets shoved back to the wall, but that's the knockout in 63 seconds. And Nightmare Fuel giving the Pulsars an early lead.
Unsurprisingly coming in clutch.
Nightmare Fuel pinching Y2K's cheeks like a grandmother. A very violent
Very,
grandmother.
very violent pinching as well.
I could see some grandmothers being Nightmare Fuel. All right. Will that be the Pulsar's last fight win this season? Asks KJ.
KJ has no confidence.
KJ has as much confidence in his team as Captain Mantine has in his own.
To be honest, yeah. I mean, it is warranted. The Pulsars did lose to the Jigglypuffs in Week 14, but they can rack up those 3 points really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And like, especially like in this case, if they get 3 points here, Jubilife has to get 6 points, and they're not known for maximizing point output.
Absolutely. Robert Bull says, love the shirt. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I like my shirt too, thank you. Mostly because it's new.
Oh, yeah, that'll do that. Mine's gotten faded a little bit. I've had it for a while. So, middleweight time. Vika, the Whipper, against Polybius, the Rammer. It specializes in wedging under opponents, trapping them against the wall on top of that spike strip and just grinding away at their undersides. Who do you got, chat? Can Polybius get this match back in going the way of the Jigglypuffs? What do you think? Just your daily reminder, Polybius is on a 14-fight winning streak, says Logan.
Yes, it is. It lost in week 1 and has been dominating everything since then. It's had a couple of, I don't want to say come from behind fights, but where it was getting its ass kicked and then physics happened. So.
How would Polybius do against the explicit equation? Probably pretty well.
Yeah, actually, it would probably just de-wheel it immediately.
Because explicit equation had no ground game. So, Vika, also no ground game. Can it get those whippers into play on the sides of Polybius? Polybius charges in and bounces Vika around and has pinned it against the wall. Vika's managed to spin back forwards and get those spikes into play.
Interestingly, the way those wedges on Polybius are positioned, it's right between the iron spikes, so it can push Vika along all at once without taking much damage.
This is correct. Vika's trying to get, I think, that left side around.
Oop,
managed to get the right side around. No wheels to hit there for the moment as Vika bounces some wheel physics around.
Those razor tips on Polybius are probably digging at least to those front iron spikes, if not the chassis. Definitely the chassis now with Vika.
Yeah, Vika taking some chassis damage as it gets shoved into the wall by Polybius here.
Polybius just kind of holding it off the floor for the moment.
Exercising control and aggression.
Polybius' driver just over there counting each second.
Counting out loud probably, like Brandon does.
Yeah.
Ooh. Polybius has gotten Vika turned on its front. I think it's being supported by it, but at the moment.
Gonna need to break this for a very unconventional looking pin.
And there it does. Vika gets away.
Broke it.
Vika now upside down on his natural positioning.
One of the sword Shreemax off of Polybius came off. But
a wheel off of Vika in the grinder, and Polybius shoving those spikes into play.
getting control board hits.
And,
and
that's going to be a
able
knockout.
to get a knockout. 81 seconds. Wasn't quite sure Polybius was going to be able to finish the job there, but it was just able to.
Little help from the grinder, and that ties the match.
That's now a tied match.
Motmot says which Brandon? The one that runs Thunderchild.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Counts out loud and then gets deducted points for being a dick. At least I think that's how it went in Bugglebots. Alright, so this is a tied match, which means we're going to get super heavyweight fight.
We'll get a super heavyweight fight.
And we go to the heavyweights. Oh, Nate. Close enough. There's like 8 Brandons in Beetleweight scene, and they all run wedges. So, Leslie and Gale are back, and they're fighting I Love You. It's a double vertical spinner, very tall, long pontoon wedges on the front of it. Wrung them out in the regular season.
It did.
Do we think Leslie and Gale can do better, chat? How do you think this one's going to go?
The notable matchup here is I Love You's long pontoon wedge setup. It's really only on the floor at the very front, and because of how long it is, you can just slide under the side of it there and you're right under it.
Yes.
So one of these two could easily run distraction and just knock out I Love You from the side. But also, I Love You, when it gets its weaponry into play, is just going to maul these things to the distance. Like it did very well this season against multibots.
Yes, absolutely. The double vertical spinner functioned very well to throw robots.
Yes.
And the lighter weight robots get thrown very well.
I want to say I Love You's got 3 or 4 ring outs on the season. Like, it's got, and a lot of them are on multibots.
It was competing for the ring out leader
Yeah.
for a while.
So it's possible.
No love for these lesbians here. I mean, maybe not from I Love You.
The rest of us here are vicariously rooting for them.
Yeah. Here we go. Heavyweight time. Let's see what Jubilife can do. So,
Goes
I
right
Love You
after
goes
Leslie
straight for
first.
Leslie, understanding Leslie's the more dangerous one. Gale
Trying
unable
there.
to get under the side of I Love You.
Doesn't quite have the drive power to get in there, unfortunately.
And I Love You now getting Gale against the wall and just carving up that underside of the front hinged flipper.
Full on gut ripping the front hinge.
And it's
Tossing
going to take it
right
right
out of
over
the
the
arena.
wall. And that means there's not 3 points
Oh, there's
available
only 2
anymore.
points here. That could come into play. It's gotten Leslie over to a grinder.
Leslie is trying to get down and has done so, but has been knocked out, I think.
I believe, yes, it was knocked out before that happened.
Knocked out before it went over the wall, but it's still 2 points because Gale went over the wall.
That still gives the Pulsars a chance.
And I got to do math once again. I was going to make a joke about I Love You being homophobic. Because this is, what, 4 ring outs that it's gotten against this pair?
Yeah, probably.
But it loves them.
It does love them.
So it's not homophobic, it just loves them. Very aggressively.
See, it loves Gale so much that it didn't want to destroy it. It wanted to just, hey, just leave. Like, make it easy. Mercy kill it.
Yeah. Like, hey, you go over there. What was the fight time?
I'll get it.
He'll get it. Don't worry about it. All right. 1 fight remaining.
38 seconds for you.
Ah.
You know what I just realized? This is the first crash stream that we had in the 3rd match instead.
Yeah, we broke the curse. We
finally
got
broke
through
it.
the second match.
Even
Thank
if it was
you,
shortened, it's still
Patreon stream sponsors, for sponsoring this Crash of Robot Arena 2 and making it possible to keep the lights on here with your $10 a month support. We appreciate it. You can support the Robot Rampage League on Patreon. You can also support us at the merch store as well. Or just by liking and subscribing and sharing the videos around.
Just padding these viewership numbers.
Ooh, Liam says there's
Yo.
only 3 damage points between them.
That makes tiebreaker very close if it happens.
It
Yep.
literally comes down to this fight.
Yep.
And both teams have their best robot in the super heavyweights. Or
Well,
probably their best.
I believe Nightmare Fuel's but the leader on the Pulsars by far. Oh yeah, by a couple of miles.
Well, Pulsars have 787B, the rear hinge flipper. Very fast and aggressive flipper. It's facing Hello World, which is the horizontal spinner juggler.
Yes.
Robots go up the wedge and get ground from above. 787B's got a pretty decent wedge,
Yeah, and those flippers are pretty powerful. It can ring stuff out pretty easily.
and Hello World's not invertible.
It's not.
So, chat, what do we think? 787B versus Hello World. Who do you think's going to win? There's only 3 damage points between them, so...
Yeah, so like whoever gets the most damage points here breaks a tiebreaker 100%.
Yes, so even if it is a ring out in favor of the Pulsars, as long as they
Ring
get
out
the
or
more damage
TKO,
points.
I think the main key here is the geometry of Hello World wedge lids.
Yeah, they're out wide to the side, and 787B's weaponry is kind of close to the center.
The only thing is those flippers do stick out of 787B, so it might be able to challenge it. But Hello World, how it charges, I don't know.
Hello World has been extremely efficient.
It is the GTM of the RRL.
Pretty much. Well, chat, let's see how this goes. Division championship on the line. $787B goes up the wedge of Hello World, but not on top of the spinners.
No, not quite. Just kind of jamming it at the moment.
Yes, digging those spikes into the front pontoon wedges.
I think those
Hello
right side
World.
flippers might actually be getting the disc on Hello World.
And Hello
Very
World has to back
quickly.
away after pinning
To meet back up.
them to the wall. They meet up again, once again in the same configuration, but this time 787B's been pushed into the grinder.
That rear protection is definitely getting shoved in there.
So 787B taking chassis damage from the grinder here.
I believe it's also parked on the edge of it there. Ooh, it just got off.
Hello World
Ooh, but
exposing its
it's got a
side to
chance.
787B, who's pushing Hello World into the grinder now. It misfired its flippers, though, and has to back away.
Well, I believe Hello World lost a flipper and a wheel.
Oh no, Hello World has completely come apart on the left side against the grinder here. 787B is driving into the grinder, trying to
Gotta back
go
out there
after
not
it.
to take another control board shot.
Physics is unhappy, but continuing, and 787B charging into the weaponry of Hello World. Not the best strategy.
But there's no wedge let on that side, so it can slide under Hello World again.
Hello World turned onto its side that has no wheels,
Huge
thrown through
throw.
the air. 787B in charge of this fight now, controlling the robot that has controlled everything it has fought this season. 90 seconds in to a dramatic and destructive fight so far, as Hello World ends up
Able
on
to slide
top.
underneath.
So, Hello World digging that spinner into the rear of 787B, taking advantage of its drive system. There's control board hits.
It's only down to, I think,
Oh,
one.
no!
No, it got knocked out. Ah.
787B misfired,
106
ended up on top
seconds.
of the weapon, and took the control board hit.
Wow.
And that is a knockout win
That was insanely
for
close.
Hello World.
That is going on a possible playoffs fight of the week right there.
And that seals the division championship for the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs.
Wow. The Pulsars really gave it a run there.
That was so close. I really thought,
I thought they were
going
going
to
to have it, yeah. Just the main thing is, oh no, KJ. KJ's falling on his keyboard.
KJ is melting down.
The main thing is 77B has a static spike that sticks out the front. So when it was on the Hello World side, it wasn't able to slide underneath.
Yeah, and
That was so
they were
close.
stuck in a microwave, and I thought that 787B having the greater drive power would have the advantage.
Mhm.
And Hello World, with excellent driving,
Was able to
with only
sneak
2
around,
wheels,
yeah.
got it against the wall and snuck underneath. What a fight that was. That's one of the best fights of the season.
Definitely.
Well, we have our Division 1 champion.
We do have our Division 1 champion. It is the Jigglypuffs. Somewhat unsurprising, but it took a dramatic twist at the end there for sure.
So now, Division 2.
We are on to Division 2, and this is where I get to die.
Yes.
So we're going to have the 4th seed Heavy Metal Robotics open us up. And they're going to be taking on the number 3 seed Levantine Alliance out of East Jerusalem. Hex, my friend, we shall duel to the death.
787B was almost Le Man, Le Myth, Le Legend.
That's really good. I like that.
I love that pun, Nitro. Okay, so in Division 2, number 4 and number 3 seeds, we have Voidwalker, the 360-degree horizontal spinner, against VSSV, the vertical spinner. Chat, who are you expecting to win here?
Oh boy.
VSSV has been extraordinarily efficient at getting KOs.
Yes, and so is Voidwalker for that matter. I think they have relatively the same record. Just these two, when they fought, Voidwalker had no chance. So, either way, this will end in death.
Well, chat seems to agree that VSSV has the advantage here, so we get the stepladder for Division 2 underway. Both
Both
robots
speed.
up to speed. A big
Interesting
collision
first
is knocked VSSV away and knocked off one of its stabilizers.
But its vert is right at the right height to take off Voidwalker's teeth. Already taking 2 of them off.
And Voidwalker's gotten VSSV flipped around and now attacking it from the side.
Kind of pinning the vert up against the wall here. Maybe just stalling a little bit.
Trying to exercise control and aggression, or is it trying to
I think
pull
it might
restart?
be a pin, actually.
Yes, this is going to be a pin.
So I'm hearing a count. Yeah, that looks like a pin to me.
That is a restart. And we have no restart rule in the playoffs. We go until the
We gotta get a result, so.
Go until we get a result, as
Another
we have
opening
a
impact.
big collision.
VSSV again getting 2 teeth off this
Yes,
time.
parts
and
from
inverting
Voidwalker going flying. Now Voidwalker itself going flying as those weapons come apart against the vertical spinner of VSSV.
They don't quite have the reach to get into that disc.
And now Voidwalker pushed into the grinder and about to be knocked out.
There was the whole triber. Yep, there it is. 29 seconds.
And perhaps expectedly, the Levantine Alliance have an early lead. TK Bomber in the chat. What happens if we need a judge's decision? We have our judges watching
Yes,
live
we do.
this week. We will have live judges' decisions. If we get to a 3-minute long fight, they will go back and watch the fight in the stream, message their scores to Steve
Over on Discord, please.
on Discord or Facebook or wherever you end up sending it to him, and he will put the scores in while we run the other fights. So we will get our live judges' decisions. And we go to the middleweights. Was this nominated for a fight of the week? I feel like this was.
I don't remember. Although Rosewater's been in a couple, to be fair.
Yeah, Rosewater's been
I do believe
surprisingly good.
Rosewater won this in the regular season. However, it lost to a very similar robot in Siege. And Immortal Corruptor's got a chance, I think?
Yeah, so Immortal Corruptor on Heavy Metal Robotics, the giant vertical disc spinner. Rosewater on the Levantine Alliance, a rather unique weapon combination of a rear hinge flipper and a piston poking spike. It's been surprisingly good combination.
Definitely.
And we are not really sure how this one's going to go. Who do you think's going to win, chat?
This was the last second buzzer beater TKO. Thank you, Nitro. I also want to say both of these two had their fight of the weeks against Breach in back-to-back weeks. Both of these two could put on a good win, a good fight. So I agree with Cora. Audience wins this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the audience thinks Rosewater's going to win. See if Levantine can extend their lead in this match. Ooh, Immortal Corruptor
Straight
got
over the top.
right up the wedge, landed on top of Rosewater and did some damage to it.
That's the thing with verts, when they're falling over, they can do some damage, but
Rosewater's trying to get that piston spike into play, but Immortal Corruptor
Immortal
bouncing
Corruptor's got
around,
underneath
and
it
now
now.
it's underneath the front end of
But Rosewater can be aggressive with that piston there. It doesn't matter if the flippers are mistimed.
Yep, it's stabbing that piston spike into the chassis of Immortal Corruptor.
A lot of damage
pinned
to
it
the
to the
front
wall. Immortal Corruptor gets away, and Rosewater runs right underneath it and takes it to the wall once again. Although Immortal Corruptor has
Now
gotten to the
underneath it.
side of Rosewater.
Rosewater's going for that weapon motor with that
Yes.
piston.
Destroying the front end of Immortal Corruptor with that piston spike, despite its flippers being caught up in the air.
Only one control board hit remaining on the Immortal Corruptor.
And Immortal Corruptor goes for the wheel of Rosewater.
He's trying
Not able to
keep
get
going,
it,
but
and
it gets
takes
taken out.
the knockout blow. Immortal Corruptor caused more damage, but lost the fight. And now Heavy Metal has to hope for some big knockouts to have any shot here.
There's a non-zero chance, maybe. Although with these two, might be here for a little while.
Not looking
Judges,
good.
could you zone back in, please?
Technically, we'll need judges' scores,
We will.
but
If this goes to a decision, it is 11-time match win, so we could move on and just get the scores for formality's sake.
yes.
However, Vacuity was known last year for going to a lot of decisions. This year, it's been a lot deadlier.
Yes, Vacuity's been very deadly this season.
Went fucking 9-6. It only had 3 knockouts, but that's still pretty impressive.
Well, let's see if Vacuity can do it again. The Axe bot Vacuity with all the defensive features on the front. It's facing the horizontal overhead spinner of Almudamir. Not the most damaging, known for pushing a lot of judges' decisions, and that's won a lot of matches for Levantine Alliance.
It has.
Specifically in this manner, get some knockouts early, push a decision to prevent points, and win. So, chat, who do you got?
I think the main thing is with how high Almudamir's weapon sits, I don't think that axe is going to be staying on for very long for Vacuity.
That's a distinct
And this
possibility.
fight did go to a decision in the regular season.
Well, we'll see who gets under who. Chat is just mostly like, this is going to be a microwave.
Hey, we'll see. It could be a tactical microwave.
Up to speed. And
And
you were
Vacuity
correct.
immediately
The
loses
axe
it.
just comes right off of Vacuity, and so now Vacuity's just got its defensive features.
I think Almudamir just has the reach to catch those corners, but it does not have quite the same drive power as Vacuity.
Well, they're pretty even on drive power for the time being, but Vacuity and Almudamir unable to get under each other.
Yep.
Well, Vacuity pushing Almudamir back now. Seems
Trying
each
to get
time
him
the
up to
spinner
stop.
hits Vacuity's armor, it's lifting its wheels.
Vacuity does have these 2 razor tips that stick inwards on the wedge, so when in here it could do a little damage. But there goes a ram plate on Vacuity.
Yes.
Both ram plates.
The front armor of Vacuity coming apart here. And Vacuity struggling to figure out a new strategy here as it bounces into the weaponry of
Well, it's got
Almudamir
Almudamir
again.
close to a grinder, over to the zone at least, but no luck.
Even with one wheel on the floor, Vacuity's got the greater pushing power. It's interesting. Runs Almudamir into the wall. Oh, Vacuity trying to push Almudamir into the grinder. It's broken off
Broke
two
off
of
some
those
of the weapons, yeah.
damaging spiked clubs as looks like the left pontoon of Vacuity's taken a lot of damage on the chassis.
Almudamir's just getting those chip shots in here and there.
Both robots showing aggression in different ways. As Vacuity bounces up the wedge,
Takes off some of the extenders on that spinner.
which is interesting that Vacuity's unable to get under Almudamir as it's so unbalanced now. And Almudamir is very slow with that weapon now as it's running low on battery power. Vacuity now pushing in from that side corner.
Trying to get Almudamir to a grinder zone, but not quite able to encourage it there.
Less than a minute remaining. Neither
Not
robot able to get much of an advantage over the other.
Not sure. Oh, Vacuity's got it over to a grinder now. Partially in there.
Yes, some grinder damage to the chassis of Almudamir now.
Vacuity has those wheel guards to protect it from the grinder as well, so it can get in close.
It's going to push Almudamir all the
Over
way
to
across the
another
arena
one.
to another grinder. So Vacuity using the arena to its advantage.
Trying to get that knockout when it needs it. It's only got 30 seconds.
It's got Almudamir in the
In there
grinder
again.
again.
So you need a couple more of those to have a chance, I think.
Well, with 20 seconds to go, I'm not sure Vacuity is going to be able to do it.
Or the spinner's off.
10 seconds remain, and this looks like it's going to go to the judges. And so, once again, Almudamir has pushed a judge's decision to win a match.
Yes, it has.
And that is the Levantine Alliance through to face the number 2 seeds. An even 5,000 points for Almudamir.
Vacuity, silly.
Oh, Vacuity, close enough.
It's not.
It's the same thing.
I got it.
Right. Judges, we will technically need your scores. eventually one day.
Yes.
But we move on because we know who will be facing the second seed, the Tennessee
Yes.
Syndicate. Code Silver, you are incorrect.
Only in your dreams, friend.
BattleBots, never let a fight go to the judges. Don't do it in the playoffs in the Robot Rampage League either.
I mean, unless you're ahead. If you're ahead, who cares?
Yeah. Having that heavyweight strategically take fights to the judges is such a
And it gives
advantage.
them the super heavyweight to get more points if they need it, too.
Yeah, it's such a huge advantage for Levantine. Get the points early and then push a decision. So that's both last season's champs and runners-up out now. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they faced a team that matched up well against them, to be honest. Like, Heavy Metal truthfully didn't do that bad this year.
They didn't do that good either.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. They weren't able to repeat.
So, maybe next year. It is now time for the Levantine Alliance to face the number 2 seed, the Tennessean Syndicate. This is VSSV facing Whammy, the sit and spin Thwackbot. Chat, who do you got for this lightweight fight? So you wearing your heavy metal shirt didn't help.
It usually didn't, so fucking whatever.
That does not bode well for me trying to support NYC in this.
I mean, they don't really support themselves either, let's be honest.
True. Well, chat is kind of back and forth, and on Whammy's side for a lot of it, so let's see how this lightweight fight goes in this matchup between these two. Whammy up to speed now, knocking away VSSV and breaking off its front stabilizers and flipping it over. And VSSV struggling with its mobility at the moment, although it's trying to come in and attack from above.
Ooh, but Whammy got a hit on the weapon motor. And
Yes,
taking it
the whole
off.
weapon comes off of VSSV. And so now VSSV struggling to come in and do anything to the spinning sit and spinner. Although it managed to flip itself back over, Whammy was attacked by physics, but
It reset okay.
didn't really affect anything in the fight, so we're going to let it continue. Wonder if VSSV is trying to push Whammy back over that spot on the floor and get a restart.
Possible.
That would be a dick move.
Fitting, though.
As
Ooh,
a
but
wheel
wheels
comes
come
off now, and
Although
VSSV...
this is pretty dangerous for Whammy.
Yeah, Whammy... sit and spinners are... It's very difficult for them to aggressively go in after robots that can't move. And so Whammy might not be able to get a knockout here.
Ooh, but it got a control board hit, so it's possible, but...
VSSV trying to stay away. Their strategy is to run. Whammy continues to keep itself spinning. It's trying to get close to VSSV. And VSSV is going to shuffle away. Whammy poked it briefly.
Yeah, this is Sit and Spinner is not really able to go in and go for the kill.
Judges, we may need you on standby here. VSSV just barely mobile enough to avoid being counted out. Not mobile enough for Whammy to hit it.
It's trying to get in there now, just using the extenders to poke at it. Huge hit there, and it looks
That
it
is
did
the
get
knockout, finally, with 52 remaining. And the Tennessean Syndicate take a 3-point lead. VSSV looking more like Dainsleif after that.
Sheesh.
Very tiny, smashed up chassis. All right. So the Syndicate lead by 3. So we go to the middleweights with Rosewater facing Exceptionally Gifted, the 4-wheel drive battering ram robot. Not as aggressive or fast as Grismo.
Not quite.
Much more controlled, much more patient.
Yes.
Wearing its opponents down. So chat, Rosewater or Exceptionally Gifted, who you got? Nitro says both of these robots are some of the most entertaining. Yes, they were both nominated for that.
Yes, I believe this fight itself might have actually been Fight of the Week contender at some point.
Are axes a better wedge than wedges? No, but saw blades are.
Yes. Notably, when these two fought the first time, it looks like Exceptionally won by TKO here. Probably de-wheeled Rosewater, so... Those wheels are very large and exposed. It's possible.
Absolutely, and like I said, Exceptionally Gifted wears its opponents down. Chat split between the two.
Ooh,
Wow.
Interesting opening ram there.
Collision caused Exceptionally Gifted to flip itself over. It's barely avoided going into the grinder.
Rosewater staying on top of it.
Rosewater pushes and flips it around, not allowing XCG to get itself down and utilize that battering ram.
It's really trying to poke at the wheels on that T connector for the battering ram, too.
Exceptionally Gifted manages to get free and line itself up. And now with those flipping panels up in the air, that is not where Rosewater wants to be. Those panels are going to take a lot of damage here. It's trying to get the piston spike into play. Not sure how much damage it was able to do. So now, once again, the flipping panels are up in the air. The whole battering ram has come off of Exceptionally Gifted. That piston spike has successfully gotten through the axe heads and broken the connectors off.
Very precise attacks from Rosewater.
And so now the much smaller chassis of Exceptionally Gifted is struggling to stay in this fight, trying to exercise any aggression that it can.
Also just trying to stay alive and limit the points here.
Absolutely. Trying to avoid getting knocked out.
Rosewater is relentless with that piston.
Just continues to pursue Exceptionally Gifted against the walls of the arena. And now it's shoved it into one of the grinders.
Control board hits now on the mob.
Exceptionally Gifted pinned on the
Parked
wall.
on top of its own battering ram and killed atop it.
That's the knockout. 107 left, and Rosewater ties the match back up.
Sheesh. Rosewater avenging its previous loss.
Absolutely. They are. Now it's heavyweight time. So, Almudamir's back. It's facing Relentless Heartburn. Double vertical spinner, 4-wheel drive, wedgelets, very BattleBots meta style robot, and quietly good.
Yes. Interesting thing here, though, because Relentless Heartburn is really known for racking up those knockouts for the Syndicate, right? In the first time these two fought, it went to a decision because that overhead was able to snipe those weapon motors.
Yep.
Could we see more of the same just to limit point output? Bank on the super heavyweights. Because we know the Syndicate's super heavyweight, not the greatest scoring points.
Yeah, the Levantine, despite not having like the best robot in any particular weight class, they've strategically positioned them so that they can limit points in the heavyweights.
Yes.
And get big knockouts in the middleweights and the super heavyweights
It's
and
such a
just
well-balanced
win matches.
It's just such a well-balanced roster.
Yes, it's a well strategized roster.
It's kind of like what Heavy Metal was doing last season with Vacuity.
Mm-hmm. Chat is on Relentless Heartburn's side. How many points can Syndicate get? Let's find out. Or will Al-Mudamir push another decision? Oh, it went right up the wedges and took a big shot from the vertical spinners.
Though that spinner is getting into play, even though it is stopped up against the wall. One of the discs has come off of Relentless Heartburn now.
Yes, and one of the spiked clubs on Al-Mudamir has come off. It's ended up on top of Relentless Heartburn here. That overhead spinner, I think, hitting the weapon motor that's missing the disc, as the other disc continues to grind into the front end of Al-Mudamir here. Unable to do any significant damage, though.
Most of Al-Mudamir's weapon is gone.
As Relentless Heartburn comes in once again and pins Al-Mudamir against the wall, trying to get as much damage with that vertical spinner as they can. There's a count here, and
it's appearing to be a pin.
It's looking like a pin.
It is indeed.
That's a restart. Well, it's not a judge's decision, at least.
I see Cat Mantine's very happy with the lack of them.
So here we go with Relentless Heartburn charging in and just kind of hitting the weapon tips of Al-Mudamir, lifting it up into the air with each hit.
There's one of the spike clubs off Al-Mudamir's weapon.
Another one as Relentless Heartburn relentlessly charges in, taking damage to that right side vertical spinner motor. Trying to break all the damaging weapons off of Al-Mudamir. He's down to just extenders now. Despite the weapon damage and the smoke pouring out of Relentless Heartburn, it has relentlessly de-weaponed
Yes, it has.
Al-Mudamir and carved right through the wedges on the front of it.
Now lifted Al-Mudamir all the way up and pinned up against the wall. And it looks like the mob might leave it here to just take the guaranteed 2 points.
Is that going to backfire on them? They need to get a lot of points here, and they're going to take 2 points instead. I understand wanting to be cautious and not throw a fight win away, but that might come back to bite them in the playoffs. Mighty Hydra says the driver of Relentless Heartburn has been disappeared. We'll have to check with our number 1 seeds to see if they've seen them.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now they need to rely on One Father to avoid getting knocked out. Oh my.
I mean, One Father is very defensive, but it's up against a juggernaut here.
Absolutely. So 5-3. Tennessee and Syndicate, the higher seed, is leading. But it's super heavyweights time. 11 Alliance has Androctonus. Side axes. Heavily damaging side axes. It's got a scorpion tail overhead axe. A lot of defensive work up front as well. Very dangerous robot. It's facing One Father with the 2 horizontal spinners, 1 high and 1 low. It's very similar to Rotator from BattleBots. One Father's not been particularly destructive.
No.
Androctonus has. So chat, who do you think is going to win this fight, and who do you think is going to win this match?
Nitro pointing out that Dractonus won by KO when they fought in the regular season, but it took almost 2 minutes. One Father could just delay it as long as possible.
Well, if One Father, say, takes a TKO, and the match is tied, right now the Syndicate are leading on damage points.
Yeah, and One Father does rack up damage points with its armor.
So, they might be in a better position than we think. Or, they might get murdered here. not terribly uncommon to have the Mafia have hits taken out on them. So here we go in the super heavyweights of this match. Androctonus getting those weapons into play as much as they can against One Father, who is pinned against the wall and their weaponry stopped. It's turned around to try to get the other weapon, the other spinner into play.
Immediately taken off.
And Androctonus just completely disassembling One Father.
Well, Androctonus has taken a decent amount of damage to the front of that
Taking chassis damage to those corners, yes. As it sniped one of the wheels right out from underneath One Father now. So that lower disc not able to spin because the robot's weight is resting on it now. As Androctonus tries to get One Father towards one of the grinders. The whole of the weaponry has come off of that lower spinner. So now One Father basically weaponless here.
And there goes the second wheel.
And it's wheelless.
But notably here, Androctonus has to go in for the knockout here to get the 3 points to win.
It's running low on battery power.
Yeah, can't retract that Scorpion Tail anymore. And it looks like it's going to leave One Father for the TKO and settle for a tie. Does it have enough damage points? I don't think it does.
So this match is a draw on points. What is it on damage points?
Let us find out. I'll do Levantines.
Okay. What do you got?
Levantine is at 18,131 damage points.
The Tennessean Syndicate have 19,860.
Oof. So that is going to be a win by tiebreaker for the Syndicate.
Tennessean Syndicate win by just a little bit.
One Father did just enough damage to get through it.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Tennessean Syndicate, the number 2 seeds, squeak through to the division championship against the Pelagic Wanderers. The Godfather's Sacrifice new movie coming soon.
Relentless Hartford's driver found safe, just enjoying a scuba dive.
I appreciate that, Zester.
Alright, but it is now time to kick off our divisional championship match.
Yes.
The aforementioned Syndicate and the number 1 seed Pelagic Wanderers. Battle of the Patrons, by the way.
Yes. Mighty Hydra and Zester, who've supported the league all season. One of them's going to be a division champion.
One of them will be. These two dueled in the regular season in the Week from Hell.
Oh my.
And Pelagic won with 3 knockouts in the latter 3 weight classes.
Well, we'll see if it goes that way again for them. They're certainly hoping so. And the lightweights. The Syndicate bring Whammy back. Whammy's been good for them.
Yeah, it has.
Had a good point score. It's facing Carsonized with the 2 side axes. Carsonized has been a steady performer for Pelagic all season. Can Carsonized turn Whammy into Crab?
It is very possible. It can reach around and get the extender setups on Carsonized side axes.
Absolutely. Chat, who you got? Whammy or Carsonized? Steve-O's off to a trivia league. Good luck. Hopefully all of the trivia questions are about the Robot Rampage League.
Oh yeah, you'll dominate that one, bud.
Whammy seems to be chat's preference for this one, so here we go. Both of the robots approach each other. Carsonized got a hit to the side of Whammy before it was able to get up to speed. And now Whammy getting spinning and being stopped by the
picks in the front.
Picks in the front of Carsonized, but now getting around to the side of those side axes.
Gotten a couple hits on that right side after the axe misfired.
Carsonized is not able to get deep enough into Whammy's spinning attack. And one of the axes is now totally broken off of Carsonized, and the other one
This front picture going out.
unable to bring it into play because it's being knocked away. Whammy doing a lot of work here against the right side of Carsonized, and the whole front end coming apart on it. Now Carsonized trying to get to the wheel of Whammy. Unable to do so.
Ooh, another big hit from Whammy.
Smoke pouring out of the crab robot.
Control board hits, but it broke half of
One
Whammy's
of the weapons off
Okay.
of.
And Whammy responds by tearing the sword right off.
Trading weapon for weapon, but not control board hit for control board hit as Carsonized
Bumps into the wall. And gets
KO'd.
knocked out in 76 seconds.
And the Syndicate have a 3-point lead to start.
Going the way of the regular season fight as well. But the middleweights here is where it's really going to matter.
Was this one of the Fight of the Week contenders?
Yes, this was... I think it was? Because I want to say Breach won this by KO, so it would have been pretty close.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the most entertaining robot as voted by the audience is in the house.
Has made its appearance.
Exceptionally Gifted returns the four-wheel drive rammer against Breach, the rear-hinged flipper from the Pelagic Wanderers. Was nominated for fuck knows how many Fight of the Week.
6 or 7. It won at least 2, 3.
Yeah, one of the most entertaining robots we've ever had. Who do you predict for Exceptionally Gifted versus Breach, chat? Logan says Breach made Exceptionally Gifted do a backflip onto the grinder. Chat seems to be on Breach's side. See if Exceptionally Gifted has learned from its previous defeats.
See if we get another Fight of the Week contender, too.
It's going to be tough to compete with some of the fights from the previous matches. Exceptionally Gifted thrown through the air by Breach. Pinned against the wall now.
Left up there. Another big toss.
Nice big deep toss by Breach. Exceptionally Gifted backing away and going for a ram. And flipping itself over the top.
Ooh, another massive toss.
Breach getting a lot of air under Exceptionally Gifted over near the walls. This is not a good place for Exceptionally Gifted to be flipped.
Might be trying to get Exceptionally out of the arena for 2 points.
Be a very spectacular, entertaining way to win a fight.
Close.
Breach almost flipped itself there, and that's allowed Exceptionally Gifted around to its side briefly. Axes colliding with those wedges, doing damage in the process.
Ooh, but Breach is misfired.
Breach now on top of Exceptionally Gifted and being shoved back against the wall and being pinned there in place and taking grinding damage from that battering ram. Exceptionally Gifted's going to have to back away at some point to break the pin.
And it does not look like it is.
It's not going to do so. This is probably going to be a restart.
Unfortunate. That was looking good at first, but that's all right.
That is a restart for a pin.
This is one of those scenarios where I'm not too bothered by getting to rewatch this.
Yeah. We'll see how this restart goes.
Big toss.
Exceptionally Gifted thrown through the air repeatedly by Breach. Those two pure flippers and one spiked flipper. Breach exposed its side briefly, but has once again regained control over Exceptionally Gifted and pitched it onto its end. But now... Oh! Smart driving got its flippers down and back on the floor.
Well, it's not able to get under that battering ram right now. Those flippers are taking a ton of damage.
Yes, and it's barely managed to get back under Exceptionally Gifted and push it back to one of the grinder zones.
Gotten exceptionally into the grinder. Propped up on top of it, too.
Yes.
Huge
Another
toss.
big toss.
Combination of wheel physics, too.
Breach continues to aggressively throw Exceptionally Gifted around and keep it near the walls and constantly at risk of a ring out. Perhaps a little too aggressively as those flippers continue to misfire occasionally. Ooh, a big charge from Exceptionally Gifted. And it's backed itself up to the wall.
But it took off one of Breach's pure flipping segments.
Yeah, so Breach down on flipping power now.
Breach also seems to be a little bit down on battery power. Those flippers are not retracting quite as quickly.
It's true, but now the flippers are stuck in the up position and taking damage. Exceptionally Gifted knocks another one of them off. Oh, that was physics.
That was physics?
Yeah, that Breach just got popped up onto the air for no reason.
Yep, that was physics.
That was physics. We
physics.
got to restart that.
Yep. Breach got popped up for no reason.
Unfortunate. Unstable, buggy game. Sometimes physics do things it's not supposed to do.
Yep.
Like Breach just randomly getting thrown into the air despite nothing happening. So, we restart. Exceptionally Gifted flipped
Let's do
over
a
from the
straight
collision, not from a flip, and Breach not flipping it because it's upside down. Pin it to the wall instead and exercise some control here.
So backs off to break the pin, very kind.
Oh no, Breach flipped itself over running into the wall.
Too quickly.
And Exceptionally Gifted is going to take full advantage of this. Surprisingly bad driving from the pelagic flippers. It's trying to self-right. And Exceptionally Gifted is...
making it as hard as possible.
Yes, trying to get as much damage in as it can. And now Breach is
Pressing
pinned against
to
the wall in a position it cannot right itself from. At least, not while Exceptionally Gifted is there. It has backed away. Can Breach right itself? It has.
It did, and it broke the count.
And it's going to punish Exceptionally Gifted for taking advantage of it while it was upside down. Once again, now it flips Exceptionally Gifted against the wall. Exceptionally Gifted bouncing around repeatedly. Breach trying to get around that battering ram, but instead taking damage to the side now.
There goes one of the pure flipping segments.
Yes, and the others misfired and are now on top of the battering ram.
There's smoke pouring out of Breach, but it is still able to get a couple of flips on exceptionally.
Who's now attacking Breach from the side and underneath the flipping arms once again. So Breach taking a lot of chassis damage in this fight.
Axes do a lot of damage when they're stalemated like this.
This is not where Breach wants to remain, and it gets shoved back into the wall by Exceptionally Gifted. Helen thinks Loki is in charge of the RA2 physics.
I don't think anybody was in charge, but let's be honest. Breach breaks it.
Oh, no!
But it ran into the battering ram and got all three control board hits at once.
A terribly unfortunate way for this fight to go.
Doing a really good... I was going to say, it's about a minute left. It's going to live, but no, it ran right into the battering ram.
Breach dominated and just multiple restarts, and it did not go their way.
Yeah, and actually, like, if Breach didn't lose that flipping segment, it would have just bounced off of that instead. That's very unfortunate.
And so now, the Tendency and Syndicate lead by 6.
They do indeed, and Breach did not get a whole lot of damage points there. As much as I feel like this heavyweight matchup might benefit the Wanderers, they are going to need a little bit more.
They need a lot of damage points. So, heavyweight time. Relentless Heartbird returns, and it is facing Twin Gyre. Twin Gyre with the dual angled spinners, one of the most destructive KO machines in the league this season. Not particularly mobile.
Not quite.
Not very fast, but it is a very well designed weapon that does a lot of damage.
Yeah, and its weapon covers such a wide area.
Yes.
That, like, you can't really get around it.
So, chat, who do you predict to win this one, Twin Gyre or Relentless Heartburn? Syndicate have a lead of 3,100 damage points.
That's a lot, but we do know Twin Gyre can put up a lot of damage points in its own right.
Twin Gyre is the predictions from chat. Can Pelagic get this match back into their hands? Can they get any points back here? As Twin Gyre just dives straight in and takes one of the discs right off of Relentless Heartburn. It's trying to get all the weapons off, and they have.
But they're intertwined in the motors.
The weaponry of Relentless Heartburn tangled in the weaponry of Twin Gyre.
And the way Twin Gyre's weapons work, it's not really able to get those out of there.
No, but it doesn't care. It's still going in for the attack, trying to get the KO as quickly as possible here. Relentless Heartburn, unable to figure out a new strategy here.
It's all chassis without those weapons.
It's trying to wedge Twin Gyre back, but I believe it's going to be taking too much damage here.
Yep, there it is.
There's the knockout.
3 seconds. And notably, look at that damage differential between the two. That will be big.
So, comes down to the super heavyweights. And Pelagic has an interesting super heavyweight strategy.
Yes, they do indeed.
Pelagic Wanderers have Sharp Snout and Blunt Nose in the super heavyweights. The Sharks, the Axe Robots. Sharp Snout with the spikes on the front and the kind of club style axe, and Blunt Nose with the armor on the top and the Warpick style axe. They're facing One Father with the high and low horizontal spinners. One Father cannot. It's going to have to work pretty hard to get 3 points here.
Yeah, and it does pretty well. Like, its armor is pretty well suited to facing smaller robots, but in the regular season one, Sharp Snout went straight through a corner and just wailed on an open chassis spot when it saw it.
Yes.
So it's going to have to stay on top and make sure the Sharks are away from it.
Yeah, distance is One Father's preferred strategy here, and its armor is spaced quite a ways away.
Yes, it is.
But it doesn't really have a whole lot of protection up top.
And
And
or really on the bottom, too.
Both of the Sharks are axes, overhead axes. So, chats. Predictions, One Father or Sharp Snout and Blunt Nose. And most notably, Sharp Snout and Blunt Nose need a 3-point knockout, and they need a lot of damage in the process.
Mm-hmm.
The Godfather versus Sharknado coming to a theater near you. Syndicate still lead on damage by quite a bit. Super heavies are the most damaging weight class usually, though.
They are indeed.
So there's a chance here. Chat is on the Shark's side. Let's see what they can do. Sharp Snout goes straight in. Blunt Nose kind of suicides at the side of One Father and rights itself. And now both Sharks attacking One Father from that
undercutting weapon
right
motor.
side.
Just get it right off and limit the damage it can output. There it goes.
Absolutely. So Blunt Nose taking the weapon motor off.
It opened up that entire corner too.
Look at the feeding frenzy from the Sharks.
They can really wail on it now. Physics.
Oh no, physics.
Yes, physics has ruined this, unfortunately.
Physics has ruined it. And we restart. Both of the Sharks attack One Father, and immediately Blunt Nose has gotten through the side and gotten a wheel. Sharp Snout not really hitting much.
It doesn't quite have the reach there.
Kind of trapped in the one corner of One Father.
Yeah.
One Father is unable to move out of its square.
And I'm going to say that's going to be a pin because the Sharks are impeding it.
Yep. That's another restart. Both of the Sharks attacking from that right side. And it looks like Blunt Nose is going to have the reach advantage to get through. Sharp Snout attacked right through the side armor. Blunt Nose is just attacking anything it can.
One Father's trying to break the count, but
it's stranded on the Sharks.
Yeah, the Sharks are once again impeding it. Ooh, they backed off.
They backed off to break
the pin this time.
Pin. And now they're attacking the other side.
On the armor to get more damage points to break the tie.
They've gone through the armor, and they've gotten the knockout.
37 seconds. We have yet another tie. Let us run these damage numbers.
And now we've got to do math. So
I'll take whichever one you're not doing. I'll do Syndicate.
Okay. So comes down to damage total. Okay.
What do you have for the Wanderers?
The Wanderers have 15,699 damage points.
The Tennessean Syndicate has 16,275. The tiebreaker is yet again broken by the Syndicate. They are your Division 2 champions.
Wow. 2 matches in a row that the Tennessean Syndicate have won on the damage points tiebreaker.
And a lot of that is because of their heavily armored super heavyweight. That you would think it's been terrible this season, to be honest, and here we have it coming in clutch.
It got absolutely destroyed, but it absorbed some damage points in the process.
Yes, it did. So that will solidify our Division 1 and 2 matchup. It's going to be the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs up against the Tennessean Syndicate in the bracket.
Yes.
Which, I don't know if any of you guys watched the final week of the regular season.
It was a good fight. Feel like I got screwed by physics there. You know, physics is a cruel mistress with Robot Arena 2.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So is the lazy, dumb AI
Yeah,
pinning robots to the wall and forcing restarts.
or just settling for 2 points instead of getting 3. Like,
You know, it's the limitations of the game that we have to work with, and this is the fairest way that we can do it.
yeah.
So it's unfortunate that it's come down to stuff like this, but you know, the Syndicate just barely squeaking through 2 tiebreakers.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
All right, so we are going to thank our 2 patrons, Mighty Hydra and Zester, and the rest of our Patreon stream sponsors once again for helping make the league possible this season. And we're going to take our midstream break.
Yes, so we've gotten through 2 divisions already.
And we have divisions 3 and 4 to go, and then the bracket.
Yes, we will have the bracket following the next 2 division step-ladders.
Yes, so we're going to take a break for about 10 minutes, and then we will be right back to do Division 3's step ladder. So
Yes.
tune back in then. We back.
We back, baby.
Yeah.
We get to move to the other side of the league with Divisions 3 and 4 now.
Yes.
After a very action-packed first half.
That was very fun. Like, I was worried we were going to get, like, microwave fights.
Microwave fights and some decisions we'd have to wait for just results on, and
That
maybe some
was-
just one-sided ass-kickings. No, not at all.
It was extremely exciting step ladders for the first two divisions, and now we go to Divisions 3 and 4 for their step ladders.
Yes, indeed.
We know two of our division champions, the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs and the Tennessean Syndicate. And now we go to Division 3. Modris is back. Welcome. I hope you got a chance to see the first two divisions because there were some really interesting
Yes, there were.
fights and results. And we're going to Division 3 now. Hope everybody's enjoying the playoffs so far. Logan says the Haters Guide is 5 for 6 on predictions.
Fair enough.
Right, let's get game fired up, and we'll start Division 3. What teams are 4th and 3rd seed in Division 3?
Our 4th seed coming out of Division 3 are the Rotterdam Invaders. And they will be taking on the NYC Pride.
Yeah, my team made the playoffs just.
Yes. A somewhat well-rounded unit up against Transfusion.
Only Transfusion.
Pretty much. I don't know how else to describe it.
Logan says that Transfusion's going to end the season 16-0, and the rest of the team will let it down.
I mean, I don't know if you saw last season, but there was an undefeated robot in the playoffs last year, and it wasn't undefeated at the end of it.
That's true. In fact, the robot that beat it went on to be the
champion,
MVP
so-
of
and
the whole postseason.
Yeah.
Well, in the lightweights for this first match of Division 3 step ladder, we have Kang representing the Rotterdam Invaders, the two Warpick style side axes. It's facing the NYC Pride's Bicerabot with the two forks of the rear hinged flipper. What does chat think is going to happen here?
Well, Bicerabot has been underperforming somewhat. And it is taking on, in my opinion, the glassiest cannon to have ever been glassed. You want to know why I say that? Kang's average knockout time throughout the entire season is 17 seconds. That leads the entire league by a couple of miles. Its average getting knocked out time is 29 seconds. So, like, not that Bicerabot's known for getting knockouts, but, like, this is going to be fast one way or the other.
Pretty much.
Like, let's be honest.
Like, the only hope that Bicerabot here has here is if it gets Kang inverted,
Yeah.
gets it flipped up on its end or something.
Yeah. Kang is invertible, so upside down is not really going to matter, but
Razor259 asking, how is Bicerabot a playoff bot? The same way that Airtime was a playoff bot last season.
yeah. It happens, man.
This is a team of 3 Make-A-Wish kids
I mean, you know,
and Transfusion.
Friendly Fire did all right the second half.
Okay.
I think we give Friendly Fire a pass. The other two, yeah, they're Make-A-Wish kids.
Yes. So, chat's on Kang's side. And let's see how it starts off against Bicerabot. Two robots come together.
Ooh, what a huge
Bicerabot ends up on top of Kang, who's going right into the chassis.
Already onto control board hits.
Bicerabot flipped itself over trying to escape.
Kang is just chewing
Although
away
that's
at the
allowing
wheels.
Kang to get into the wheels instead of the chassis. So this is ruining Kang's average knockout
Yes,
time.
indeed it is. It's still 22 seconds, so it's only a little bit ruined. It's okay. That is a very quick 3 points for the Invaders.
Yeah, I don't see that fight going any other way.
Now, like, that's the thing with Kang is it hits hard and it dies harder. And this time it hit hard.
That sounds like a Lethal Weapon movie. or Die Hard movie.
Hit hard, die harder.
Yeah.
I like that.
Middleweight time. Cora wants to know what the record for these teams was during the season.
Give me just a moment.
So, Rotterdam Invaders bring sleeve, one exclamation point question mark, to the middleweights, the asymmetric overhead horizontal spinner, the only one that's asymmetric outside the lightweights, and it's fighting Panther from New York City Pride, the four-wheel drive aggressive rammer.
So, going on the team records, the Invaders are 7-7-1, the one being a draw, and the New York City Pride are 8-5-2. So NYC has more match wins overall, but I think if you look a little deeper, you'll know it's mostly because of one robot.
Yeah. And one robot does not win matches usually.
Ooh, it does not. I'm gonna double check how they did against each other earlier this season. They fought week 2. They fought really early.
Chat is back and forth between Panther and Sleeve.
In week 2, the Invaders won 7-3. That only win was for the undefeated Transfusion. So,
well, it's not looking good for NYC here.
It's not.
They're already down by 3. Chat seems to think Panther's got a shot. What do you got, Panther, for Sleeve here? A big charge.
And Sleeve sniped a wheel.
Immediately, Panther loses a wheel on the opening charge.
That's going to hinder Panther's ramming ability immensely because it's not going to be able to line up properly.
Absolutely not. And Sleeve is caving in the front end of Panther even. Going through the weaponry. Panther's still being aggressive and pushing Sleeve around a bit.
I think it broke off some of Sleeve's teeth. Ooh, another huge impact.
And that broke off one of the Panther paws as Panther gets underneath Sleeve and has it off balance.
He was off balance briefly. Another hit, huge hit there.
A lot of smoke coming out of Panther as it throws Sleeve against the wall.
Did not quite fall over though, although Sleeve only has one tooth remaining on the end of that asymmetric spinner.
But it is digging into the chassis of Panther.
There
goes that last tooth. So now Sleeve off balance. Only with those counterweights.
It might be able to get those counterweights in there. They might be low enough.
Or can shove Panther into the grinder.
And would you look at that? 61 seconds, and Sleeve wins using the arena hazards instead. Well then, the Invaders can no longer lose. The best New York City can do right now is tie. And they're going to need a lot of damage points to catch up. Although Panther did quite a lot in that one.
So the driving of NYC letting them down.
Mm-hmm.
With Sleeve being the better driven robot. Okay.
Wow. Sleeve has shown all season it can really use its drive power when it needs to.
Yeah, it's the whole Invaders team is just like sneaky good robots.
Yes.
They've been under the radar the whole time. And who knows how far they could go in the playoffs. Honestly, like that. Yeah. So now, it's the heavyweights. And this is a rematch that we were all kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, this was a patented transfusion come from behind win.
Mm-hmm. So, the Rotterdam Invaders have Pathfinder, the front hinge flipper. Also has some vertical spinners to drag robots deeper onto the flipper. It's facing Transfusion with the triple front hinge flippers. Transfusion's undefeated. It's 15-0 regular season.
Yes.
It had the most unbelievable streak of come from behind wins where it was getting its butt kicked and still managed to win.
Still pull it out somehow. Also leads the league in ring outs with 6.
Yes, it set the regular season record.
Which, I mean, if it gets a ring out here, that's only 2 points they lose.
Absolutely.
Transfusion has to go for the kill here.
So chat, Pathfinder Transfusion, will the streak continue? Who you got?
I appreciate that, LOC. LOC, the owner of the Invaders, saying Transfusion versus its dollar store clone. you know.
Let's see what Transfusion has for the Mars rover, Mars lander.
Transfusion
Goes
bounces
up
over
the
the
front of
top of
Some big hits coming from
and
Pathfinder.
is getting thrown upside down.
It's trying to self-right. Pathfinder's staying on top of it.
Yeah, Pathfinder's not allowing Transfusion to self-right properly.
Huge hits, pinning it over to a wall, encouraging it towards that grinder zone.
Yes, Transfusion is stuck
Huge hit that time.
and been thrown through the air and
One of
losing
its
its
forks is
wedges. Transfusion up against the wall, struggling to get down now.
It has.
And now stalemating with the wedge of Pathfinder after taking a ton of damage. And not able to get under Pathfinder's wedge.
It's not. That static wedge on Pathfinder is blocking it. Back off to break the pin.
And then
It goes
straight
right
over
back
the
up.
top
Control board hits on Transfusion.
onto the grinder.
The other wedge lid is off and it's being pinned into that corner grinder zone.
Pathfinder is absolutely in control of this fight.
And
Oh,
physics!
no!
What the fuck? God damn it. And Transfusion was not knocked out before that glitch, so that is going to be a restart. Son of a bitch! I swear to fuck Transfusion, if you pull this shit out,
It
I'm gonna
has
be mad.
plot armor. I swear
It has
it has
plot
plot
armor.
armor. I can't believe
God
that.
damn it.
I thought both of the robots getting knocked out on the grinder and Transfusion somehow being the one that won it during
Was
the regular
bullshit
season
enough.
was bullshit, but that was... It was dead to rights.
Yeah, it had one hit left. Come fucking...
That
Alright.
is so funny. I gotta get my composure back here.
Alright.
So stupid. Here we go.
For the restart. Transfusion knocked Pathfinder
the
aside
side
and
and
got
is-
underneath.
Only briefly. It's just about gotten Pathfinder up and over now.
And
But
Pathfinder's
it's
thrown itself
tumbled
over the wall.
Over the wall for a ring out. Unfortunately, that is only 2 points, and Transfusion, after getting its ass kicked, is like, no, we're not doing this again. It has chosen the selfish option of keeping its undefeated record intact and dooming its team in the playoffs.
You know, I think that's only fair. Because
Considering it
Transfusion,
carried the NYC the entire season.
Transfusion dragged its team to the playoffs on its own, and it will end their playoff hopes on its own.
Yes. Alright.
I can't get over it was going to
Fucking
lose, and then
stupid.
physics is like, no, we can't allow this. The streak must continue.
God damn it.
That was so funny.
And I checked, it was knocked out when the glitch happened, not beforehand, so fucking...
All right, the Rotterdam Invaders move on.
You don't know how funny it would have been if it lost to Pathfinder, too, because Pathfinder does not have the best record. It's been relatively subpar this season.
And our number 2 seed is
Okay, no.
the Sinister Creations.
Sorry, Pathfinder was 8 and 7, so it was at least average, but like... That would have been fucking hilarious.
Captain Mantine says actually scripted.
Yes, because of course we have the physics button on our keyboard.
Zester says Transfusion was saying, screw this, I want to go home.
Yeah. I do like it from Blacksburg. Who are you calling a dollar store knockoff? Pathfinder was giving it to it. Fuck.
Oh, man. Okay. So the Invaders advance to face the number 2 seed Sinister Creations. Kang is fighting Cavity Search, the big vertical drill spinner mounted up high on top of the robot. Cavity Search hasn't been the best, but it's tough to kill.
Yeah, it can be surprising at times. Weird robot.
Chat, Kang versus Cavity Search. Who you got? Captain Mantine saying, you showed me the script already, I'm on the judges panel. then you'll already be aware that we don't need your judging this stream.
Yeah.
With the way that it's going. Okay, everybody's on Kang's side.
So here we go. Kang versus Cavity Search to start off match number 2. Oh, what a hit from Cavity Search to start.
Both of them getting big hits on each other.
This is going to be a short fight, and I think it's going to go the way of Kang so far.
Those fork wedges not doing Cavity Search any favors here.
Cavity Search can't get in for a hit without taking big hits from Kang.
Oh, but it's kind of gotten to the side. It's trapped the side axe to live a little longer.
There's the knockout. 25 seconds. Kang continues to be made of glass and also made of cannon.
To its credit, it has been a cannon so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, Kang is doing the work.
So notably, these two teams fought in the very first week this season, and Sinister won 9-3 after taking a loss here. So we'll see if we get more of the same.
Well, Dysphoria says redemption arc. Maybe.
I agree. I will also note that all of my teams have lost their first match so far, so I will not be surprised if I get another one here.
In fairness, so did my team.
Yeah. All the hosts are getting their asses kicked in the playoffs. What do we do?
It's almost like we didn't script it for ourselves.
Right? See, no, this is why we needed the Spider Wolves to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Then everything would be fucked.
I mean, if you thought the stream was already wild,
Yeah.
imagine if the Spider Wolves were competing. Okay.
I need to go wake her up.
Middleweights. Sleeve is facing Cycloid. Cycloid has the Warpick style side axes, much like Kang, except it's fighting the asymmetric horizontal spinner and Sleeve. What do you got? Chat, who do you think's going to win? Completely mid team that just keeps winning. I mean, one of the reasons we have the stepladder bracket is because or the stepladder format for the divisions is because it's really wild to watch a 4th seed run the ladder. And Rotterdam could pull it off.
Quite easily.
Logan forgot what the haters guide said.
Cora thinking there's too many components on Cycloid for Sleeve to be able to punch through it. I mean, if it gets a side axe, that's an opening.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
But they're on Cycloid's side.
See if Sleeve can use that driving to its advantage once again.
Ooh, immediately sniped the side axe.
Got the side axe, and there's smoke pouring out of Cycloid. So tons of damage by the asymmetric spinner here. So it is just
on the wheel that time,
pounding
too.
away at that right front corner. Cycloid's trying to get Sleeve into a corner, but its round shape just means that it just gets free.
No, I think it managed to get 2 of the teeth off of Sleeve's tooth, though. It got the whole tooth off this time.
So Cycloid down to just that counterweight, which means it's got to get in close.
Yeah, but Cycloid has those ramp plates up top to potentially block that. We've seen it do that against other overheads.
Yes, it has. And it is
Well, there
getting
it goes.
the left side axe into play.
The right side corner of Cycloid not looking good.
Yes, lots of smoke pouring out of that front corner as the
counterweight's
counterweight
gone.
comes apart. And now the ramming spike on the front is gone. What in the world are you doing, Sleeve? Calm
Sleeve
down.
is massively unbalanced.
Cycloid trying to go in for the kill as Sleeve is trying to return to its home planet by the looks of things.
Control board hits now on Sleeve. Cycloid's just about adding the damage up, though.
Yep, Cycloid continuing to rack up the damage. That remaining side axe, and that's the knockout with 139 remaining.
Ooh. 81 seconds. That was a pretty good fight, actually.
Sleeve gave Cycloid a hell of a beating.
That was very close, yes. I'll toss that under a possible fight of the week at the end. That was pretty good.
That was a good fight. Cycloid was on the back foot for quite a while there.
And now it's heavyweight time.
Pathfinder returns. It's been put back in the ring after
back.
being thrown out. It's fighting Omnipresence, the flail sit and spin Whackbot style robot. Omnipresence is extremely destructive.
It is indeed.
Pathfinder didn't have a good time against it before.
No, it did not. It was pretty bad.
So chat, Omnipresence versus Pathfinder predictions. Match is tied right now, so
Omnipresence has been quietly good, if that makes sense. Because it's 11-4 with 8 knockouts. Like it's been the main catalyst for Sinister. I just think Sinister's whole arc this season has been just being number 1 in the division the whole time.
just quietly number 1, just doing
Yeah.
just enough.
Yeah, just enough to stay up there, but it's been on the back of Omnipresence, to be honest.
Well, chat seems to think that Omnipresence has the advantage here.
I think it's got a good chance.
I love that comment, Helen. I'm back from my flight. Who do I go? Oh, crap.
Oh, crap. Like, oh.
Okay, Pathfinder. Can you put a stop to Omnipresence here? It bounces off Omnipresence, and that allows
You get right up to speed.
the sit and spinner to get itself up to speed. It's tearing the
Off
whole
disc
front
and
end
the
of
wedge.
Pathfinder apart.
Pathfinder does not quite have the speed to get in there and get Omnipresence stopped.
Nope, and that is a 17-second knockout. And now Sinister leads by 3.
Notably, they have at least 6, so should this go to a tiebreaker, they might have the damage points there. I also like the idea of Omnipresence seeing Kang's quick knockout and being like, you know what? I can do one better.
Yeah. Holy fuck, Omnipresence, calm down. Omnipresence does not calm down. It knows no such state. It only knows murder.
Yes.
And so now, the winner of the Derpiest Moment Award,
Yes, it is.
Boolean, has entered the arena. The Piston Flipper was competing for a long time for the most ringouts in the league. It is facing Eldritch Horror from Sinister Creations. Rear hinge, front hinge, side hinge, flipper. It's like a bear trap style weapon. I don't know how this one's going to go.
Yeah, so Boolean actually is tied for the ring out lead in the super heavyweights. It also has a better record than Eldritch Horror.
Yes.
And Eldritch, despite having a 9-6 record, has thrown a lot of fights when mistiming and just being a little cringy.
Yeah, its ground game is not particularly good.
Not really. And it has very exposed chassis, but it is up against a relatively non-damaging robot.
Mm-hmm.
And all Eldritch has to do is not get KO'd here.
Yes.
But at the same time, we saw another Piston Flipper, Event Horizon, get 2 knockouts at the end of the season, putting robots to the grinder.
Absolutely could do it.
Boolean more than has enough control to do the same thing.
That's how it's gotten robots over the wall before, was throwing them against the grinder
Yeah.
first. So, chat is on Boolean's side. So, let's see if Boolean can tie this match up and take it to the tiebreakers. Oh,
Eldritch slid right underneath
straight
it.
over the top of Eldritch Horror, and Eldritch Horror's weaponry is just tearing at the underside
Boolean's trying to use the pistons to
Boolean.
get away.
Drive motors and wheels coming off now. As Eldritch Horror just tears into the underside of Boolean.
Massive lipo fire inside that piston flipper. Control board hits.
Yeah, Boolean's trying to get away any way that it can.
But it is not going to happen.
That's a knockout.
31 seconds. For a second, I thought Boolean was trying to eject itself out of the arena to escape.
That would have been funny.
That would have been incredible.
And so that's Sinister Creations. Moving on to the Division Championship match. Cora wanted to see something dumb again. Well, I mean, that was kind of like
Still possible.
And so, the number 1 seed in Division 3, No Beanie Robotics, took the #1 seed from Sinister in the very last week of the regular season.
Good.
So, Cavity Search returns. It's facing Non-Binary Star from the NB team. Double front hinged flipper. Pretty decent, pretty good little lightweight for Nobini this season. Got the first lightweight ring out of the season.
Did.
Expertly throwing robots over the wall. So chat, Cavity Search or Non-Binary Star? Or asking, will we even get to see Ace of Spades?
Well, so this fight had a somewhat controversial ending in the regular season one, where Non-Binary Star was not able to break a TKO count in time. Just like getting boxed into a corner. I'm not expecting the same thing, but Cavity Search is really known for actually taking decisions with its weird geometry. So I think that could actually really limit these two in terms of points here. I don't know.
Well, we'll see if
It goes the way chat thinks because they are fully on Non-Binary Star's side.
two robots collide and wedge stalemate, but I think Cavity Search managed to get a little grinding damage on the top of Non-Binary Star.
Cavity Search does it on occasion, just tips forward and just drills away.
That's its main attack strategy is to tip forward on these impacts.
Oh, like that, but it has been flipped over.
Yes, Non-Binary Star managed to flip Cavity Search over. And now
Although, getting tipped like this, those drills are doing a tiny bit of damage.
it appears to be. There's a little bit of denting to the wedge on Non-Binary Star. Who's going to push Cavity Search over to the wall.
I don't think Non-Binary quite has the range to hit it from here, though.
No, it's not able to quite get it up on top of the wedge enough to hit it with the weapon.
Oh, brief pin situation, but they broke it. Cavity Search rolls over the front of the flipper.
Yes, it's using that unstable geometry to damage Non-Binary Star whenever it can. And Non-Binary Star not firing its weaponry directly into the drill, which is probably a good
honestly.
strategy. We've seen front hinge flippers suffer from losing their weapons doing that. But it has taken a pretty sizable dent to the front of that wedge. It hasn't really reciprocated in return.
Not quite. Well, it's gotten Cavity Search to a corner grinder zone, but not quite to the grinder itself.
Exercising a lot of control and aggression, but not really any damage from Non-Binary Star here.
Backs off to break the pin. Cavity Search does get away just.
Rolls up the wedge and does a little more damage. Non-Binary Star appears to be trying to line it up for the grinder. Or not. Trying to go around the side of the weapon as Cavity Search
Rolls away.
throws itself against the floor.
Under a minute left now.
Yeah, both of these robots are going to be running low on battery power. Captain Mantine saying, I knew I remembered a judge's decision in the script.
Well, you know. Non-Binary is trying to get Cavity Search to that grinder, but I don't think it has the battery power left to drive it there.
No, doesn't quite have the drive power remaining as 30 seconds ticks by. Judges, prepare thyselves. Non-Binary Star tries to take a pushing strategy against Cavity Search after inverting it early. And we're going to go down to the judges.
Yeah. And that could really go either way, depending on how they interpret aggression.
Aggression, control, strategy, all of it. And that is 1 point for some team somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And while the judges go over that, we will run our middleweight fight. This is going to be damage versus control, Helen says. Yes, it's another one of those classic fights where one robot had all the damage, the other one had all the control, and which one Which one do you go with? Captain Mantine asking what the criteria is again.
Check your DMs for me. I'm pretty sure I sent you the fight court stuff for it.
It's almost like all of this is available on spreadsheets that are publicly available.
Right?
Weird. Mr. Circus says might not even matter what comes next. Yeah, it's going to depend on following fights. So, Cycloid is back. It is fighting Remote Control, the robot that won the Glass Cannon Award.
Indeed.
Remote Control's got the 4 piston poking spikes that come out the center, but it is all chassis. So chat, Cycloid or Remote Control, who you got? Mr. Circuit predicts more glass than cannon.
It is very possible, though Cycloid's not a fan of piston pokers. So even though like Remote Control has a lot of exposed chassis, I'm not sure it's going to be able to live that long.
Well, chat is on Cycloid's side. So let's get it started and see how it goes.
Ooh.
A massive hit from both robots against each other as Remote Control shoves.
Whoop, that looked like physics to me.
Yep,
That looked like physics to
that
me.
looked like physics. Restart.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Big opening impact again from both.
Yeah, Remote Control's going to shove Cycloid back to a grinder and then focus
Cycloid
on
got
that
to the
left
side,
side
though.
axe.
Although Cycloid's keeping to that side to try to get the axe into play. Control board hits and a knockout on Remote Control, 13 seconds.
$35.89 in 13 seconds.
Notably, though, I believe Remote Control got the knockout on that one in the regular season one, so that could really swing this match.
Absolutely. And so Sinister has the lead now with a 3-point knockout. And we move to the heavyweights where we have another multi-bot competing.
Judges results in non-binary star does win that decision, 29-21. That'll be a point for Nobini, so they're only down by 2.
Only down by 2. Heavyweight time. Omnipresence returns, and it is fighting the multi-bot pair of Phobos and Deimos. Phobos, the rear hinge flipper, and Deimos, the 360-degree spinner. I don't think Phobos and Deimos are going to enjoy this. They need to swarm Omnipresence to get it stopped to have a hope here. Chat seems to agree with that. So we're going to start this and see what happens. Knockout here for Omnipresence will seal the match.
They got up to speed and taken out, at least knocked Phobos upward.
Phobos is stuck on its rear end. It's totally de-weaponed Deimos and
Taking a wheel
de-wheeled
off
it
it.
now. Although Deimos knocked Phobos back down to the ground.
And Omnipresence went over to make sure they moved, too. Actually trying to go in for the kill.
Yes. Deimos now bouncing around and unable to attack, so curious to see how Omnipresence will handle that. It's now taking a wheel off of Phobos.
I believe Phobos is now dead. It is.
Yes, so now
Just Deimos.
Deimos is the only one remaining, and Omnipresence
Just about has the reach to get a couple of hits. There's a count on Deimos, but it broke it.
Omnipresence still managing to hit it with those flails.
And it was able to get a knockout
That's
on
the knockout.
both of them.
That's a full 3 points. And a match win.
That is indeed a match win. Sinister was able to win their division in the end.
All right. So we have our Division 3 champion, Sinister Creations.
Even despite getting knocked out of the #1 seed, they still managed to avenge their loss against the NBs.
And now it's Division 4 time. Helen plays Ace of Spades by Motorhead in honor of Nobini Robotics.
Yes. Fortunately, Nobini's ace in the hole was the super heavyweight. It didn't even get to strike.
Unfortunate.
I just realized we forgot to go over the awards when we restarted.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we do that really quick.
Okay.
So these are the awards chosen by us in the league. A couple of handful of ones. So the first one we have is Best Design.
Yes, so Best Design, a lot of people seem to think Best Design means the best at winning fights.
It's not.
That's not what we
No.
do Best Design. Best Design is like the best constructed
Yes.
type of robot.
Something that's unique and also efficient in said uniqueness.
Yeah, it's unique in the way it was put together and successful. And who won that?
The winner of that was Rosewater from the Levantine Alliance.
Yes.
A very different combination of using a flipper and a piston, and like, yeah, it's cool and all, but it was also super effective. Like, we
Yeah.
did not expect anything out of it. We expected it to be average at best.
There were a lot of cool robots put together, but the fact that Rosewater was so unbelievably effective, despite being so simple,
Yeah.
is
And like, considering half of its weaponry was a pure, no damaging component, then it was efficient as hell.
it had a single damaging weapon.
And it got a lot of KOs. Like, it was
So-
ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely worthy of Best Design, taking something so simple and making it so
Yes.
effective.
And then we have the Best New Coming Team.
Yes. So, Best New Coming Team does not mean most effective at winning. It's more or less the best fit for what we wanted the Robot Rampage League to be.
Yes.
Entertaining, competitive, very good theme,
Very good fights.
excellent fights, popular with the fans. We can think of no other team that meets all of those criteria.
Besides the Pelagic Wanderers.
Pelagic Wanderers, best new coming team. Just, they tick all of the boxes for what we want the Robot Rampage League to be. And we're very happy that they have done as well as they have.
Even though they got knocked out here in the playoffs, they were so good.
Yes.
The Most Improved Award.
Yes.
Most Improved Season 1 Robot carrying over here. Obviously, there's not as many options as you might expect, but could think of nobody else but Smashy McSmashface itself.
To go from the worst record in the league
To a glass cannon that's average.
yeah,
Like, yeah, okay, it was average, but it maximized its point out. It was the Aberrant of this season.
yeah,
And it's that after being the worst robot last year.
by a wide margin,
Yeah.
it's the worst robot. It had the record for most consecutive losses.
Yeah. So. And then we have our Most Valuable Bot Awards. We have one for every weight class and one for the overall as well.
Yes, and the robot that won overall cannot win its weight class award.
No, so it will be different.
So we have 5 most valuable bot awards here.
The lightweight Most Valuable Bot is Nightmare Fuel from the Pinwheel Pulsars.
Yes.
Very efficient, very high scoring.
Very high scoring robot is the reason the Pulsars got as far as they did into the playoffs.
Yes. The Most Valuable Middleweight is coming up soon in the stream. RRL from Team Sanctuary, I should say.
Yes.
It was, 10-0 to start, and even still only lost like 2 fights. Like, it was ridiculously good.
There were only like 1 or 2 robots within like a few points of it.
Yeah, and it's built very similarly to like other robots in the league, and it kicked all of their asses like it was nothing.
Yes.
So very impressive.
By a wide margin, the highest scoring middleweight.
The most valuable heavyweight is Transfusion.
Yes.
It carried NYC to the playoffs itself, in spite of its teammates,
Yes.
and put on fantastic fights.
The way that we described it to each other is climbing the ladder of success. Transfusion carried its team behind it the entire way.
Yes.
With its team holding it back, it
was
carried them
shackled
all
back,
the way up to the
It was
playoffs.
shackled back the entire time and still made it there.
Yes.
Fantastic. And the whole reason I remembered the awards, the most valuable super heavyweight was Ace of Spades from Nobini Robotics.
Yes.
Absolute killing machine it was.
Yep, it was the reason they had the number 1 seed, and unfortunately, it didn't get to compete in the
It's
playoffs.
unfortunate.
But had a hell of a record and a lot of points for them.
And the most valuable robot overall.
Overall, MVB for the entire league.
It'll be coming up here in the playoffs as well. It is Random Acts of Violence from the
Yes.
circus.
If Transfusion was dragging its team up behind it, Random Acts of Violence was pushing its team up even higher ahead
Yes,
of
it
it.
was.
The reason C4 Circus is the number 1 seed is because Random Acts of Violence supported its team to an unbelievable extent like that.
Yeah.
So, most destructive robot in the whole league, won the most destructive award, right?
Not by damage points, but
I
it's
thought
still...
it won by damage points.
No, it was just short of death penalty, I think.
Okay, death penalty.
But it's still like the highest in the heavyweights by like a mile.
Yeah. One of the most damaging robots, unbelievable KO machine.
Yeah.
And C4 is number 1 seeded because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So-
It is deservedly the most valuable robot in the whole league.
Absolutely.
And of course, I would say we would have a most valuable robot in the playoffs here, but we are not done yet. So
Yeah.
I believe it is time to kick off the Division 4 step ladder and introduce some of our most valuable robots here.
Yes.
So we're going to be kicking off with Team Sanctuary. And they're going to be taking on Pink Chaos.
Yes. One of the early favorites,
Yes.
Pink Chaos.
And this is a very important matchup for the entire step ladder because Pink Chaos kicked the crap out of everyone in Division 4 throughout the season, except for Team Sanctuary. They lost to them.
Hmm.
So this could change the entire step ladder right here.
So, chats. Excavator is on Team Sanctuary, the overhead claw axe crusher weapon. It's fighting Firestarter from Pink Chaos, the asymmetric horizontal spinner. Predictions. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to take the match? Either one of these two could take the whole stepladder. Absolutely.
Pretty much. The main key here is that Excavator has a basic aluminum armor, cannot take as many hits.
Yeah, a couple of the robots on Sanctuary are
But
that way.
it kicked the shit out of Firestarter the first time.
Well, the Haters Guide says Team Sanctuary.
Yeah, but Nightmare himself lacks the confidence, even though he destroyed them in the regular season.
Well, chat's a little bit split so far. Firestarter, can you redeem yourself? As it gets itself up to speed,
Big hit.
it's smacking into the side of Excavator, but
Fire-
kind of glancing off that wheel guard.
Firestarter's been able to stay at speed, though, and actually get hits instead of being entirely stalled like this. Excavator's going for that 1 in a million shot, and it got it!
Yes, Excavator broke off the asymmetric spinner, and now Firestarter just has the sledgehammer counterweight, which it can do damage with.
He's trying to get up into that weapon motor to take the claw off.
And taking chassis damage in the process.
And it
there
broke
goes
the claw.
off. So now both robots with their weapons crippled. Firestarter with the more dramatic looking chassis damage.
Whoops.
And now Firestarter's
Parked.
stuck on its front end,
Excavator was sporting and moved it.
trying to exercise some control and aggression here.
The rest of the claw is off, but Excavator can play a very good wedge game.
Yeah, Excavator's known for out-wedging opponents and taking wins that way. Firestarter bounces around uncontrollably with that horribly off-balance spinning weapon. And Excavator flips it over once again. I think Excavator's trying to encourage Firestarter over closer to a grinder, but Firestarter's just bouncing around all over the place like some kind of bouncy thing. And this is going to help out Excavator if this should run to the judges, because this is aggression, this is control. It's a lack of control from Firestarter as Excavator pushes it near the grinder zone. Look at the front of Excavator, though, the damage that it's taken. As Firestarter bounces off the grinder briefly.
The main key here is not letting Firestarter get back up and get that counterweight up to any speed, because then it can get the control board shots with a big hit.
Yeah, that whole right side of Excavator's caved in. Firestarter's trying its best to get back over. And Excavator's...
it's doing enough to exercise control, but also leaving it upside down so it can't get up to speed.
Yes, and trying to keep it in that grinder zone. Hoping for a little help from the arena.
Excavator even whipped one of those sword wheel guards over for a second. Now it's gotten Firestarter to the grinder. Control board shots. Ooh, but it got away.
20 seconds to go. Excavator pushing Firestarter into the grinder again.
And it got the knockout.
That's a knockout.
16 seconds remaining. Crucially, that is 3 points and not a potential decision.
Yes, absolutely. A very gutsy win for Excavator to give them a big lead over Pink Chaos. Yeah, we haven't done for a while.
What's that?
Thank our Patreon stream sponsors for sponsoring another Crash of the Game. Robot Arena 2, you broken mess of a game. Thank you, stream sponsors, once again, all of you wonderful people, for making this league possible for us. Liam, thank you for not taking that the distance. Well, number 4 seed is leading by 3. So we go to the middleweights. So, Team Sanctuary is RRL, MVB of the middleweights.
Indeed.
Rear hinge flipper. Against Overthrown of Pink Chaos, front hinge flipper. Chat, these are two of the best flipping robots in the middleweights. Who do you got?
This is another very close one because RRL, as we know, is built very similarly to Creighton from last season, who got its ass kicked in a fight of the week with Overthrown. Even though RRL won the regular season fight, Overthrown needs one chance.
Yeah.
So this could be close.
I think RRL has the weapon power advantage.
I would say so because it has 4 spike strips rather than Overthrown's 2. But I think Overthrown gets a little bit more velocity with its front hinge configuration.
Yeah, because it's moving for a while before it hits the opponent as opposed to already being
and
touches.
RRLs are like right underneath the wedge.
So I got to agree with Tamabris, though. I think it's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up. As we know, flipper fights always a toss-up.
Well, chat is split. About as split as you can be.
See if one of these robots gets split.
It's going to be, hopefully, a good fight. It's a
They
big
both
collision.
kinda
RRL flipped over forwards,
And Overthrown is underneath.
not allowing RRL to get fully back upright, and now they're to each other's sides.
Oh. They have locked into a microwave.
A little bit. Overthrown does have that spiked wheel guard, but for the time being, both of the robots refusing to give up their position and risk the other one taking advantage.
And I'm now eating my words saying RRL would not get locked into any microwaves.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I did say that this was going to be a good fight.
Well, these two are so evenly matched up that they're not letting each other get any ground and are just spinning in circles.
No. I hope the judges were paying attention in those first 4 seconds.
Definitely. That could literally be everything for the fight. It's really going to depend on which one of these two makes contact with one of the walls as they're spinning, because that'll give the other robot an opportunity.
Usually it does, yes. Chat, what's been your favorite fight of the stream so far?
Let us know. What's been your favorite match of the stream so far? We can look into putting those match of the week videos together.
Yeah, we can start doing that.
So you look at some of the season 1 ones as well.
Ooh, what whiteboards? Yeah, what whiteboards do you want to see?
What does everyone else want to see? We can see.
It's these two maneuver
Make them
near
away
a
from the
wall. And then back away from it. How dare you two do this in the playoffs?
I know y'all are trying to get points and everything, but can you at least entertain the masses when you do so?
Helen would like to see Leslie versus Gale, but we saw that every time they fought.
Right? I'm fine with seeing some of the other multibots duel to the death. The crabs fighting, that would be hilarious, actually.
In the words of JP, go on, kill each other.
I agree with Mighty Hydra, a rammer free-for-all would be fun. A flipper free-for-all would be cool, too.
Oh, well. They did bump the wall.
And not much happened.
Nobody got the advantage out of it.
Though I do believe that Iron Spike Wheelguard on Overthrown has done some damage over time to RAL.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the damage totals are, because I feel like that's what's going to decide the damage category for the judges.
Pretty much.
Because that is where we are heading in 4 seconds.
Well, this is the curse of RA2. Sometimes you get absolute bangers, and sometimes you get that. That's okay. An entertaining opening 10 seconds.
Yes. Judges, get your scores in to Dr. Baconburger, please.
I mean, the main crucial thing there is there's only 1 point for 2 of the best robots on these teams.
Yes.
That's a big loss for both of them, truthfully. And Sanctuary goes from a most valuable bot contender to probably the unluckiest robot in the league. He's pretty close.
Yeah. Right after it got its award, too, says Nightmare.
Fucking Captain Mantine, one of our judges for the day, just messaged me saying, kill me.
Okay. While the judges are watching back those 10 seconds,
10 seconds.
We're going to get our heavyweight fight underway. Team Sanctuary has Fire Prince, the double vertical spinner that has had just atrocious luck all season.
Yep.
It's against Second Amendment from Pink Chaos with the four-wheel drive aggressive rammer, complete with bare arms. Who do you predict to win this fight, chat?
So I will say, despite Fire Prince's known unluckiness this season, it did end the season winning quite a few fights. Like, it won 5 of 7 up in the middle there, so, like, it's very potent when it can get its weapons into play, but sometimes it can just get stuck, or sometimes it just has bad luck. Who knows? It did kick the shit out of Second Amendment, though.
Well, chat is leaning towards Second Amendment so far. Liam says, my scorecard, 3, 3, 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not terribly uncommon with microwaves.
Oh yeah, it's usually very close.
Mr. Circuit says Fire Prince has improved as the season went on.
Mhm.
So, and Second Amendment's on a 6-fight losing streak. Well, let's get it started and see if that judge's decision matters at all. Second Amendment with a huge charge
Almost got
throws
Fire Prince over the wall.
Fire Prince into the top of the wall. The total flip. That was a physics.
That was physics. Sorry.
From the spikes getting intertwined, and we restart. A giant charge from Second Amendment has Fire Prince upside down, and it's kind of its weapon has pulled it against the wall.
Yeah, its wheels aren't quite touching the floor, but
Second Amendment attacking, and Fire Prince kind of escaping using its weapon. I think it's trying to throw its weapon into Second Amendment from above.
Yeah, just try to just top rip it. It got some of the wheel guards off doing that.
Yeah, Second Amendment's going to run Fire Prince into the grinder.
And take a wheel.
So now Fire Prince struggling mightily with its ability to maneuver around. Second Amendment's going to push it against the grinder some more.
A lot of smoke pouring out of Fire Prince right now. Control board hits from that bear arm.
Second Amendment bearing some long arms here.
Taking some stabilizers off.
Fire Prince unable to do anything to match Second Amendment's pace.
Attack.
Second Amendment is charged directly over the top of the weapon and has ended up trapped on its side.
Fire Prince is still mobile, though. If it's able to break a count, is it going to cheese a win?
Oh my goodness,
Holy
Fire
shit.
Prince. Second Amendment suicided over the top of their weapon and got stuck on the grinder.
And even with the wheel guard coming off, it's not able to get down. Holy shit.
That's a 75-second TKO for Fire Prince.
Fire Prince cast an Uno reverse card to give the luck back to Second Amendment instead. And notably, that seals the match win for the Syndicate. Not Syndicate, Sanctuary. You can tell I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
Also notably, Overthrown won that decision 28-22, so if Second Amendment won there, they'd still be in the match.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Fire Prince traded all of its luck from the entire season for this playoff win.
Yes, it did.
Monarchy just beat... I don't know if that's democracy. Although there is a quote from Civilization 4 that democracy grows from the barrel of a gun. Which doesn't sound like democracy to me.
No, that was Chinese communism.
So, now we move on to our next match in the stepladder. Team Sanctuary is taking on the Moscow Man-Teens. Nightmare Toys. You're welcome, guys.
Now watch as they run the ladder. Yeah.
Okay. It is time for Excavator against Metallica. Metallica, one of the most destructive lightweights this season.
Yes.
Extremely aggressive, extremely fast. It's got that W-shaped spikes on the front. We've called it speed metal for a reason. It's up against Excavator, and Excavator, I think, beat it during the regular season.
Yes, it did. Excavator was one of the few to beat the Metallica. We were going through.
So, chat. Excavator versus Metallica. Who do you predict?
Notably, though, this match ended in a tie in the regular season, so could be the same when we look at damage points again. I don't know.
We did have 2 matches go down to damage points.
Yes, indeed.
Earlier in the stream.
I also did just think, since one of our judges for this stream is Captain Mantine, the owner of the Manteens, in the event there's a decision here, I think I'll submit scores in his place.
I feel like that's the right choice.
I feel like that's good to do. Because even though Mantine is a respectable gentleman and will score fairly, it is still a conflict of interest.
Yes. Actually, I think he would score unfairly against himself because he has so little faith in his team.
Right?
We must save him from himself.
Yes.
Chat is split across this fight, so let's start this match. Metallica bounces off the floor and misses.
Boxed itself into a corner, but has gotten away.
It's pushed Excavator back, and Excavator's managed to get a claw into play once as Metallica tries to dodge that wedge on the front. Driving pretty well, actually, Metallica, so far as it's...
But now it's
just driven straight onto the weapon.
It's being stalked by Excavator here.
And now it's perched on the wedge and just getting crushed.
Stranded with its wheels off the floor. Metallica cannot escape right now.
Excavator is digging through speed metal and has knocked it out in 39 seconds.
Excavator is doing some work for Team Sanctuary in the postseason.
Yeah, despite being under armored compared to the rest of the league, it's putting up the work when it needs to, getting those points.
And now it's the middleweight's time.
Ooh, and this was a very near fight of the week winner. I believe this is the fight that got overshadowed by Rosewater versus Breach, our best fight winner, so.
Well, RRL returns. Hopefully not going to have a microwave.
Yes.
It's fighting Falcon Punch, another one of the more popular robots this season. The sit and spinner with 8 fist weapons. Chat, predictions for RRL and Falcon Punch, please.
You know, I did just say, it'd be nice if RRL doesn't do a microwave, except it's facing what's essentially a microwave tray. Just a very bitch slap, as Mott puts it, bitch slappability.
Yes. Logan says RRL is going to keep winning, but it lost to Overthrow.
It did lose.
Technically.
Although I want to say in the regular season, this was RRL's real first test in its undefeated streak. So Falcon Punch can definitely give it a fight.
Yeah, and the Mantines definitely need some points here to get back into this match. They are trailing by 3. So here we go. RRL charges in and
Immediately
throws
tosses it up.
Falcon Punch through the air. The punch spins away, doing a lot of damage to the front end of RRL, who's getting its flipping arms mistimed. And it's unable to get Falcon Punch to flip over completely because of that gyroscopic stabilization. It's got it stopped.
Pinned. Control board, it's been really digging in when it gets these tosses. Although the flippers are mistimed.
Yes, they're mistimed, and the chassis
Ooh,
of RRL's taking a lot of damage, but that's it.
That was it. 34 seconds. Just like that, Sanctuary is banking on living or damage points. And it got a fair number in those two fights, to be fair.
This is a 6-0 match right now.
It is right now.
And
Sanctuary running the ladder? It's distinctly possible.
It's happening.
I get a bingo square if it does.
We go to the heavyweights.
This could be more.
And the
of same.
Mantines need a knockout. How many TKOs did Fire Prince take during the season?
Let's find out, shall we? Fire Prince only took 3, actually. It took 5 knockouts, so. But I
Okay.
do believe some of those came from grinders as well.
Gotcha. (917) is here to fight Fire Prince. It's a rear hinge flipper shaped like a Le Mans race car. Fire Prince doesn't like being flipped, as we've seen.
It really doesn't.
It can still somehow win, though. Particularly if 917 drives under its weapon while it's upside down.
Yes.
So, chat. Fire Prince or 917? Who you got? Can Fire Prince just avoid being knocked out? That would win him the match.
Yeah. The other thought here, since 917 is a rear hinge flipper, similarly to RAL, it could misfire and end up on top of those stabilizers, and it has very exposed chassis.
Yes.
So,
They're predicting 917 to win. Let's see how it goes. Will it be the knockout the Mantines need? 917 not able to get
takes it
underneath
straight
the
to a
stabilizers.
grinder, though.
It's pushed Fire Prince onto its back briefly, but those flipping arms are exposed to
And
the
getting
weapon.
torn off, too. Already lost 1.
Fire Prince tries to attack. It gets flipped over the top of 917 and against the wall.
I-17 got at least one hit on the underside of Fire Prince.
Bunch of those flippers have been torn off of 917.
Yeah, another
now.
one.
I think it's down to just one. Fire Prince tries to push 917 into the grinder.
It's in there briefly.
And
it
917
flipped over from its drive
collided with the stabilizers and has
now
been flipped
it's underneath
by the spinner. So we've seen 917 do a lot of damage when upside down like this, but not against a vertical spinner like Fire Prince.
Control board hits. Has it propped up against the wall.
And that's a knockout in 63 seconds.
Well, that is a 9-point sweep for Team Sanctuary.
Is that the first sweep of the stream?
No, we've had quite a few sweeps already.
Okay.
That's the first perfect sweep so far.
Yes.
Because even though we will not have the super heavyweight fight, that is a perfect 9 points for 3 fights.
It's the second sweep.
Second?
Yeah, the Pulsar's had a sweep.
Oh, yeah, that's right, sorry.
But yeah, it's the first perfect sweep
Well then.
from the number 4 seed.
And would you look at that, the number 4 seed is in the division final. The most Season 1 team out of those that were submitted to us has made a division final.
How about that? We were expecting a power creep, and we kind of got it, but the most Season 1 team is in the division final now for Division 4. Okay, Excavator, you're fighting Clown Car next from the C4 Circus. Clown Car, the 4-wheel drive long rammer, not wide, long. Chat, predictions for Excavator versus Clown Car for the Division Championship. I agree with LOC, who says honk.
I do agree. This was also a 6-6 draw back in week 4. Oh boy. Well, I mean, we saw Sanctuary break it this time, so who knows?
Yeah, by a wide margin.
Yeah. Mr. Circuit saying this is an easy matchup for Excavator. I disagree because Clown Car's got that length to get that motor off.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it times it, it could be good.
Robert Bull predicts honk. There will
Me
be
too.
honks.
Test away.
Well sneezed. We start the Division 4 Championship match. Clown Car goes to the side to avoid the claw. Nothing happening.
Right into it there, though, for at least one hit.
Not able to get those going. Oh, it was
got the
going
sword
right for
off.
the extenders for the wheel guards, but it has been rolled over by
Yes, indeed.
Excavator.
And notably, that ramp plate protection's not on the underside here.
That is correct. And those spikes are higher up, so they won't be hitting the wheel guards of Excavator.
Lancing
Is
blow with the crusher there.
more or less on the aggression here for Excavator.
Interesting that Clown Car is kind of using that ramp plate to stalemate with the wedge of Excavator.
They're holding the claw in the downward position briefly.
Could have damaged the claw.
Big charge by Clown Car.
Nothing doing, though.
Repelled by Excavator. And
Drove
Clown
into the
Car's
grinder and lost a wheel.
reversed into the grinder now. It's going to be not evenly on the floor now. That's going to allow Excavator to get underneath.
Yeah, and those front wheels don't really touch the ground when it's upside down like this, so it could have a really hard time moving.
Although it is getting those ramming spikes into the chassis.
Clown Car's just so narrow, it's hard for Excavator to get in.
And
there,
now
but it's got
Excavator
trouble.
getting the claw into play. Chasing down the wounded Clown Car.
Trying to snipe those wheels if it can.
Excavator attacking the weaponry on Clown Car. Probably not the best idea at the moment. Clown Car
Broke the pin.
got free from a count. And Excavator is trying to maneuver Clown Car back into the grinder again.
Control board hits against the grinder.
Just holding Clown Car in that grinder zone.
Clowncar's trying to escape. It has a hard time. Oop, it just got out of there.
And Excavator's going to go in from the side. Not quite able to get fully underneath Clown Car. 45 seconds to go.
Can Excavator seal the deal here? Get those 3 points.
It doesn't have much longer to go. It's got to hurry.
Trying to slide under those wheels, but it has so little battery power left. I don't know if it can drive under there.
Yeah, it's trying to corral Clown Car back to the grinder again. But Excavator just does not have the drive power to get fully underneath Clown Car. Ten seconds remain.
Oh, now it's under it.
It's trying to attack the wheel.
Got
It's
the
taking
wheel,
another
though.
wheel off. With 5 seconds to go. Trying to use that wheel guard. But that goes to the judges.
That's the judge's decision.
And importantly, that's only a single point. Oh boy. Clown Car just saved C4 a lot of trouble. Probably.
Yeah, honestly, like, only 1 point there's huge.
Yeah, that means that whoever gets, 2 of the next 3 fights doesn't even have to get KOs.
Yeah.
E4 Circus with a rear hinge and front hinge flippers. It's a bitey flipper. Noisebomb, big point scorer for the C4 Circus. Had some pretty dramatic fights. Very cool robot. So chat, predictions for RRL and Noisebomb, please. Mr. Circuit says RAL to repeat.
It's got a good chance. It did beat Noisebomb in the first iteration of this.
Do you have your scores in?
I have one of the judges.
All right. We're going to start this middleweight fight while we wait on the judge's decision to come in. Here we go. Noisebomb with the huge advantage with the wedge. Gets RL up on top of the wall briefly. Throwing RL through the air, but now one of the flipping arms for Noisebomb.
Oh, but it was able to get
Caught
back
up.
down.
Oh, what
Oh,
a kill
what a kill
shot in
shot.
20
Okay.
seconds. Well, that was about as definitive as that got. And so, regardless of the decision,
That's
C4
the
Circus now takes the lead in the match. Question is, the lead by how much?
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, Excavator does win that decision. Fucking 38-12. So
Okay, so C4 Circus leads by 2 points. If they get a knockout here, they seal up the match and the championship for Division 4. Fire Prince, it's been winning.
as indeed.
It's up against Random Acts of Violence, the league MVB, 4 side axes, and a saw spinner to go along with it because reasons. One of the most violent and destructive robots in the league this season. Can Fire Prince do it again, chat? What do you think?
I do believe the regular season one, Fire Prince did put up a good fight carving into the front of the most valuable bot, but we'll see.
Well, Random Acts of Violence seems to be chat's prediction. Can Fire Prince keep the
4th seeded team's hopes alive? It's been knocked over by Random Acts of Violence, who's
And it immediately got a wheel.
taken a wheel. Random Acts of Violence carving into that side of Fire Prince, who's trying to keep the weapon pointed their way.
It's doing a good job.
It is knocking away some of those weapons
It's gotten at least some damage on the side axes.
off of the weaponry of Random Acts of Violence, who's pushed Fire Prince back into a wall.
Taking out those stabilizers too.
Random Acts of Violence experiencing Random Acts of Physics briefly. Fire Prince now struggles to get free from the wall.
Trying to get out of there for the count, but it is tipped over once more.
Got a big hit to the top of... Oh, there
And
goes
the
the
last
last of the
wheel
wheels and the
and
knockout.
48 seconds, and your Division 4 winner is the C4 Circus.
That was not very long, but it was extremely destructive.
Yes, it was. Random Acts of Violence padding its damage totals.
Thus endeth the miracle season
Yes.
from the most Season 1 team.
They gave it a good run. They were able to beat Mantines, so...
And Pink Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Made it to the Division Championship. That's not bad.
Well, just like that, we have gotten through all of the step ladder finals so far.
Yes, there are 3 matches remaining.
There are 3 matches remaining.
We have the Jubilife City Jigglypuffs against the Tennessean Syndicate, and Sinister Creations against the C4 Circus.
Yes, indeed.
And the winners of those are the
Duel
Grand
for the final.
Championship. So, here we go with Jubilife City Jigglypuffs and the Tennessean Syndicate. Now, the Jigglypuffs went undefeated for 14 weeks.
Indeed.
Who did they lose to?
That might have been the Tennessean Syndicate.
Yeah. So, this is their one nemesis of the season. Ruined their perfect undefeated season
And they have to face him in the playoffs.
in the semifinals. Okay, chat. Y2K, the front-hinged Axie sword against Whammy. Predictions. They're on Whammy's side. Helen says they shall drink some RB if the mob wins.
I think it would be worth it.
Okay, here we go to start the semifinals.
Whammy gets itself
Speed quickly.
up to speed and knocks Y2K away, damaging that chassis, although Whammy bouncing awkwardly across the floor.
Even though it's bouncing awkwardly, that'll raise those spikes up a little bit to hit that sword.
Or potentially put the sword where it can hit the extenders.
True.
They've worked their way over near one of the walls, and Whammy is now stopped. It's struggling to get itself back up to speed, and that's allowing Y2K to keep in close and keep it stalled. Whammy looks like it's about to flip over off the back of Y2K, and it has.
does. But it is invertible.
And it's going to keep attacking that weakened right side of Y2K.
Takes the burst wedge off. Y2K's trying to stop it against the wall, but Whammy spins away.
And now
Control board
Y2K
hits.
on its final control board hit, and that's the knockout.
65 seconds. That's a big 3 points. Y2K's known for stopping teams from getting points.
Macrowave.
Something like that. The Syndicate leads by 3.
We do indeed.
And we go to the middleweights where Polybius will fight Exceptionally Gifted once again. Chat, your predictions for the Rammer versus the Rammer. Two very different styles.
This was one of the few fights I saw on vacation, and Polybius pulled a real heel turn on us.
Yeah.
Was getting its ass kicked by the first fight. Physics happened, and then it kicked Exceptionally Gifted in the second half. So,
Which will we get this time?
I think Exceptionally's got a good chance. That battering ram is no joke.
Well, chat is on the side of Exceptionally Gifted and the mob. They want to see the Division 2 team with the advantage going into the heavyweights. A big charge from Exceptionally Gifted has flipped it over, and Polybius has pinned it to the wall. This is not where Exceptionally Gifted wants to be, taking that damage from that spike strip.
Taking a lot of damage just from being rested up
Will
there.
Polybius back away? It will.
And Exceptionally is stuck on its face.
Oh my goodness, it's done the thing.
Holy shit.
But, crucially,
That's only 2 points.
this is only 2 points, folks.
Oh boy. It's the thing.
Only 2 points, and it's not a lot of damage points either, so...
Oh. Oh boy.
Go to the heavyweights. So we have 2 similar weapons in different configurations.
Indeed.
The double vertical spinner of I Love You against the double vertical spinner of Relentless Heartburn. And last time, Relentless Heartburn
Kicked its ass.
just tore I Love You apart. So chat, predictions.
This could be big here with only 2 points there. This could seal the match for the Syndicate.
If they get a knockout, they win.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, chat? Relentless Heartburn or I Love You? Chat is on the side of the mob, presumably because they've been threatened by the mob. Or maybe they just don't love I Love You. So here we go. This is a crucial fight.
All the marbles.
And I Love You has lost the wedge battle, but for the moment the weapons are just touching tips.
Yep. Pontoons are just long enough to keep Relentless Heartburn back.
Keep it away from I Love You's
There's a
chassis.
tooth on the floor. I think it's from I Love You.
It is from I Love You, and now they've gone in side to side. Relentless Heartburn is tearing into that right side pontoon wedge and damaging the weaponry.
Yeah,
on
it's got
I
a
Love
little
You.
bit longer reach than I Love You. Although
I Love You's gotten underneath.
both
They've
of them
both
took him off.
traded weapons.
I Love You's lost both of them though.
Yes. So now Relentless Heartburn, with only 3 spikes left on its single remaining disc,
Very unbalanced, but it's against a weaponless robot.
is now dealing with one of the better wedges in the game. I Love You, who has retreated and gone in for another attack and is using those ram plates to protect its chassis here.
Partially to try to de-weapon that remaining spinner too.
And
It was part of the armor.
yes, the armor is coming apart, and Relentless Heartburn is getting in close to that chassis. Spikes breaking off of the weaponry of Relentless Heartburn. I Love You aggressively ramming that remaining pontoon wedge down the center of Relentless Heartburn, who is just tearing into the chassis now with those remaining spikes on that disc.
Ooh, I Love You briefly got caught in the grinder too.
1 minute remaining as
All that armor on the right side's gone.
armor comes apart on I Love You.
Only one tooth on Relentless Heartburn.
And I Love You's
flipped
falling over the grinder.
Ooh, it got back down, though.
And
Still
it's nearly
very
falling
low.
over again as it pours smoke.
It's only 40 seconds left. I Love You's falling over again. I don't think that really affected anything because it was already flipped over.
I have to watch as Relentless Heartburn has I Love You against the grinder upside down. Watch back and see that collision as this countdown goes down. 19 seconds remaining. We'll wait for the call on physics.
How'd you go back? It was indeed physics, but I'm not sure how much it affected overall.
Yeah, the important thing is to check if the physics put I Love You in a spot it would not otherwise have gone into. Because if that's the case, then it'll be a restart.
Yeah,
We're watching it back on the little screen down here.
it happens, you know? Right around here.
You know, it was upside down when that happened.
It was upside down when it happened, and like, it didn't go into the grinder, and they didn't KO it from there, so...
I think we let that stand. I think that's a TKO.
I think so, because it was already falling over when that happened, and Relentless Heartburn didn't put it into the grinder and didn't get knocked out from that result.
That'll be an official TKO win for Relentless Heartburn. So more or less, if we when we watched it back, they collided. I Love You fell over, and just as it hit the floor, it was
spun
pushed
away.
across the floor by physics.
Yeah.
But it was already upside down, and it didn't take any damage from the grinder.
No.
So that didn't affect the outcome that had already taken place when physics happened. So now, Syndicate lead by 3.
And crucially, they have like 7,000 more damage points.
Yes.
Like, it's a lot. So, I Love You needs to, or Hello World needs something very quick here.
So Hello World, the juggler horizontal spinner against One Father, the double horizontal spinner. How do you predict this one to go, chat? Last time it was a judge's decision.
Anything other than a knockout here, and the Jigglypuffs are gone.
How do you predict this fight to go? Not necessarily who will win, but how do you think it's going to win? How do you think it's going to end?
I think it would be incredible if One Father knocks it out. That would be really funny.
If One Father knocks out Hello World. I mean, Hello World's been struggling in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it has a lot of exposed chassis for like the undercutter specifically to hit, but fucking hell, that'd be funny.
Mott calls for Hello World to lose on damage points.
It needs way more than One Father here, and that's going to be very hard.
To decide who goes to the grand final. Hello World against One Father, and Hello World pins One Father to the wall. Those horizontal grinders getting underneath One Father as Hello World grinds away at the underside. Unable to do any significant damage to One Father at the moment, while its upper disc is just tearing into
into that disc.
Weaponry of Hello World.
It's taking almost all of it off that left side.
Yes, it's taking the maces off of the left side disc as Hello World puts...
The right side disc is gone too. Hello World is weaponless.
Oh my goodness. One Father has de-weaponed Hello World. And now Hello World only has its pushing ability.
Even though its pushing ability is incredibly good, it's going to be taking a ton of damage here. And One Father's weaponry is still pretty much at full.
Yes. It has the upper disc at full strength, and it lost one of the spikes off the lower disc.
Orwell's trying to put One Father in the grinder to maybe take him off that way.
It needs a knockout, but it needs to score a lot more damage than One Father, and it can no longer score damage points.
Yeah, and One Father's tearing up those ram plates and everything too.
This fight may already be lost. As One Father continues to tear into the top of Hello World when it charges in. Smoke pouring out of Hello World. Smoke pouring out of the Syndicate's robot.
Hello World has taken a ton of damage from that undercutter too.
Yes.
Trying to get One Father up to the wall, but to no avail.
Once again, the armor of One Father protecting it from the grinders.
Ooh, it's
Hello World
up,
tries
though.
to get it over the wall. Get a win any way that it can. As One Father slips over the top of it. Less than a minute remaining. As One Father continues to be pushed around, but doing significant damage in the process.
Propped up on the wall briefly, but the undercutter lets it get down.
Yes, and it's been flipped, so now it's the full strength weapon on the bottom. Tearing the plow
Plow's
off of Hello World.
Hello World.
30 seconds. Look at the damage that Hello World has taken to the front end.
Completely coming apart here.
One Father just grinds away with less than 10 seconds to go. And Hello World running out of battery power. It's going to go to the judges again. And the Tennessean Syndicate
have beaten the
Jigglypuffs twice.
Holy shit.
Judges, technically, we need your scores for that. So, once again, for the second season in a row, a team has been utterly dominant for the whole regular season and has
they lose
fallen
the
short
semifinals.
in the semifinals. TK Bomber, One Father feels like the MVP of the playoffs.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has been. Even though it's not really winning all of them, yeah, it has been. You don't have to be incredibly good at winning to be valuable.
The Jigglypuffs have been found napping.
Aw, they were put to sleep. Boo-hoo. I like how it's in the shark's backyard, though. That's pretty good.
So, our final semifinal, because that totally makes sense.
Yep.
We have Sinister Creations against the C4 Circus to decide the next spot in the championship finals. Cavity Search, the vertical drill spinner, against Clown Car, the long rammer. Chat predictions for this fight. Chat predicts honk.
I agree. So, this is a somewhat familiar match, as we already saw this. This was one of the Circus's perfect shutouts. Syndicate's looking down the barrel of the cannon right now.
Well, let's see how it goes in the finals. Playoffs.
Clown Car immediately gets flipped over on a miss.
And so now those ram spikes are up higher where the drill can contact them.
Yep.
And Cavity Search is attacking
The corners.
the corners where it has an opening. Clown Car trying to, I think, push Cavity Search over,
Maybe try to snipe that drill directly.
but exposing its broad sides to attack.
Ooh, that was physics and a half. Actually, they reset pretty
They
well. I think
reset from
they
it.
actually reset.
Okay, we're going to let that run.
If they were inverted and otherwise, but no, they're fine.
Cavity Search going in, trying to push the drill into the sides of...
It's gotten at least one of the spikes off of the Clown Car. Control board hits. It's really been adding up on
Okay.
the corners then.
Yes, Clown Car
Both
taking
of
a
them
lot
off
of
now.
damage to the front.
Another control board hit. Although now that ramp plate's in the way for Clown Car.
But it only needs another chassis
Ooh.
hit, and it'll be over.
Still has the drive power to potentially knock Cavity Search over.
And Cavity
Now it's
Search
lost a wheel.
has the positioning to get to their side. Just needs one more hit on that chassis. And it's just grinding it, rather, because it doesn't have the reach.
Yeah, and this could be a problem because they're going in circles here.
90 seconds down as smoke pours out of Clown Car.
Uh-oh. Well, it's pinning the Clown Car here so it can maybe get in there, but no.
Not able to get the
No
knockout
luck.
shot, Cavity Search. It's going to have to back away to break a pin. And it's not doing so, but
Oop,
Clown Car gets away
Clown
anyway.
Car broke it.
Another big
Tried
charge
going
from
in there,
Cavity
but
Search.
No
Not
luck.
able to get to the control board. Less than a minute remaining. As Cavity Search just completely messes up the chassis of Clown Car here, but is not able to put it away. It's going to try and push it into the grinder now.
Has. That wheel's there. It's
Right,
able to get the
rear
chassis
wheel
in
has
there.
come off. Can it get the grinder to KO the Clown Car?
I think the wheel might be in the way.
Cavity
Clown
Search
Car
backed
is
away.
Hardly moving. I don't even know if it can move.
I don't think it can. This looks like a TKO through
Yes,
raw
it is.
damage.
Yes, 162. Even though that's a bit of a missed opportunity without the control board knockout there, that's still 2 points and not the one for a decision.
And so, Sinister Creations has the lead in the match.
Also interesting, we have gotten the scores for the Hello World One Father fight. Hello World did win, but it was 29 to 21. The last one was much more in
It was
Hello
like
World
41 to 9.
Yeah.
That was a lot closer that time. So middleweight time, folks. We have Cycloid against Noise Bomb. Noise Bomb, we've seen, can kill things pretty good. So can Cycloid. Predictions, chat. Who do we think?
Oh boy, this is where all of my confidence goes out the window.
Yes.
Because this might shock you, but Cycloid does not have a wedge.
Yeah, chat, I think Noise Bomb's gonna win.
Yeah, that's fair. I would be very happy if Cycloid won, but you know.
Cycloid was one of the best robots in the middleweights last season.
They can
but
put on the
this
damage
season,
when it needs to. Huge toss from Noise Bomb very quickly, though.
Yeah, it's flipped Cycloid over and is struggling to get under it now. But
Oh,
it
that side axe was
totally
yeeted.
ripped axe right off of Cycloid, who's no
Tossing
idea how to
violent.
respond other than to get
Put
thrown in the
straight
grinder.
to a grinder, too.
Noise Bomb flipping them both up into the air and inverting itself.
Oh, but Cycloid's lost a wheel, so it can't capitalize.
That was a perfect opportunity
Yep.
to capitalize, but the damage it took did not allow it to. Noise Bomb not able to get those rear hinge flippers underneath Cycloid this time.
Cycloid's still using that side axe when it's stuck under there, but Noise Bomb used the grinder to get the knockout.
And that puts the C4 Circus in the lead.
Indeed it does.
And crucially, because Sinister only has 2 points, if C4 gets
ended
another
it.
knockout, they win.
However, Sinister might just have the kryptonite for the
Oh
most valuable
my.
bot.
2 of the most destructive heavyweights right here.
Even though Random Acts of Violence won this fight rather convincingly a couple weeks ago, Omnipresence kicks its ass in testing a lot. It's truthfully one of the reasons why REV was accepted and not considered overpowered, because it doesn't take side attacks very well.
No, it doesn't. So Omnipresence, the sit and spin flail thwack bot against Random Acts of Violence with the 4 side axes and sauce spinner. Prediction chat for 2 of the most damaging robots in the league. Razor calling for 20,000 damage.
I think we'll get close, yeah. I don't know about most damaging. That's going to be nigh on impossible.
They would both need close to 20,000 each.
Yeah, like I think the record's like 35,000. So I don't think they have the sheer amount of weaponry to do that.
Well, the predictions seem split.
I like that.
Let's see what happens in this 1-point match.
Physics threw a fit. We're restarting that one. Oh boy. That was quick. That was instant.
It was like Random Acts of Violence hit the eject buttons.
Yeah, just fucking yeet.
It's like smack. Poof. That was great. Restart.
All right, let's try it again.
Random Acts of Violence losing.
Whoop.
And
They more or less reset
they
there.
more or less reset. They're going to let it continue as flails come off of Omnipresence.
Couple of shots on those mud tires.
Yeah, the flails are getting around to the
Ooh, they
side
got
of
the side
Random
axes
Acts.
off.
Flips
Control board hits already.
Random Acts of Violence over.
And Omnipresence was able to get the knockout in 22 seconds. And that's a lot of damage points for 22 seconds.
And now it's 5-3.
Yep, and now, for the first time in a little bit, we get some super heavyweight fights. Well, we had the last one, but still. Hello, super heavyweights.
Okay then. So, the Eldritch Horror returns. The Bear Trap with Flippers. It's against Freak Show, who we've not seen yet.
We've not.
This playoffs. This is a vertical drill spinner on a piston that comes out. It's not a particularly damaging weapon, but Freak Show's got such a good ground game. It's known for just grinding its opponents into dust over time. Predictions chat for Eldritch Horror against Freak Show.
Boya pointing out Sinister is leading damage points by almost over 5,000, so Freak Show does get a knockout here. It's getting a lot of damage points.
If Freak Show gets a knockout, they win.
Oh, yes, that's right, sorry.
If
anything
they don't
less
get a
than that's
knockout,
alright.
then it's a draw and it comes down to damage points.
This was a weird fight in the regular season. Because Eldritch's ground game is a bit of a wild card, but it fared pretty decently against Freak Show before throwing the fight, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Eldritch Horror is known for throwing fights.
yes, it's pretty bad.
Okay. Can it avoid doing that in the playoffs? Freak Show versus Eldritch Horror to decide who
Ooh,
goes to the
Freak Show
championship.
got the ground game to start. The
Eldritch
piston
Horror
drills doing
pushing
damage, but
Freak Show to the grinder. The components on the rear protecting Freak Show's chassis for the moment.
quite a bit of damage already to the front of Eldritch.
Yes, and
Backs up to
Freak
break the
Show
pin.
attacking those rear hinge flippers in the
now
front.
Eldritch is underneath.
Yes, Eldritch Horror carving into the underside of Freak Show, which has a lot of chassis surface area.
Already smoke pouring out of part of it. Gotten Freak Show up
Ooh,
onto the
Freak
wall,
Show
but
almost went over. It's now upside down and stranded on top of Eldritch Horror. And flippers don't really like to fire when their opponents are
No.
upside down. So
Freak Show
this,
is invertible, though, so this isn't an issue for it.
this could be an advantage for Freak Show here as it reverses
Backs right
into
to it.
Eldritch Horror.
But with those rear hinges retracted, it can't get underneath it.
Freak Show seems stranded.
Now,
Oh, but the piston has come off.
yes, the weaponry is off of Freak Show, and Eldritch Horror is carving into the top side as it's upside down. And taking Freak Show apart here.
Ooh, huge hit there. Control board hits now on Freak Show.
That's it.
That's the knockout.
That's the
blow.
knockout.
85 seconds. Well then. Sinister went from getting perfectly shut out by the circus to beating them.
8-3. And so there we have it. Sinister Creations
Has somehow made it to the finals.
has made it to the grand final
Fucking how?
as one of the weaker scoring teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, like they've as much as they've been leading their division, like they've been kind of underwhelming for being a division leader.
And so now the game crashes.
Oh, of course. Why could it not do that?
Perfect timing. So if you want to see the championship final, you have to support us on Patreon. I'm kidding.
Yes.
Thank you for the final time of the season, Patreon stream sponsors, for all of your support this season, helping us keep the league running, and generally supporting the channel. It's been very much appreciated. We cannot thank you enough, but we can give you a little bit more robot fighting.
I like what Zester said. So it's the mob versus the forces of evil. This is the bad timeline. I must say, Mighty Hydra, mutually assured destruction. No other way.
I swear, if the Syndicate wins this on damage points again.
Fucking. That would be, like, kind of cool. Because that's a lot of it being one father carrying.
So here we go, chat. This is our championship grand final to win the Golden Saw Blade.
Yes. I can pull it up now. Later, buddy.
Don't lose your fox.
The golden saw blade.
Yes.
Pull it out in all
Yeah, let's take it out.
So shiny.
This is what is on the line. Can you manage to lean that on the shelf somewhere, maybe behind Sylveon?
Maybe. I have to move Sylvie.
Tamabris, I see your 5-pound super chat. It's Robot Championship fighting time.
Yes, it is.
Okay. It is time. Whammy against Cavity Search. Chat. I see your predictions for Whammy.
Feeling like that fork wedge shape on Cavity Search is not going to do any favors, because it's going to get right to the side.
Those corners are right where Whammy likes to attack.
The only thought I just had was, because Whammy occasionally pops up off the floor, that could just go straight into the drill of Cavity Search. Like, that drill's no joke.
That's true, but if Cavity Search flips itself over, it could put the drill right into Whammy's weapons and
Yeah,
take
it
it
could.
off.
So,
Tamabra says Whammy to smack Cavity Search into next season.
that's if it makes it to next season. It might get caught in transit.
Here we go. The championship match is underway. In 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Cavity Search bounces away from Whammy, which has tried to get up to speed, and now it's landing blows to that right front corner.
Cavity Search's drill is not able to really make contact.
Not really sure how to attack, but it's gotten
Ooh, that was-
underneath Whammy briefly as it's scooped up and over that side.
Whammy has more than enough drive power to keep it away just by turning. Already on the control board hits his Cavity Search. And it has gotten knocked out in 30 seconds. Advantage goes to the Syndicate.
And that is 3-point lead for the Division 2 team.
Division
from Tennessee.
Sinister trying to show Division 3 is not a pushover despite its low scores, but not looking too hot taking on Division 2 right now.
Where's Sinister from again?
Sinister's out of Death Valley, so this is California against Tennessee.
Yes. All right. Exceptionally gifted has been exceptionally gifted all season. It's against Cycloid with the 2 side axes. What do you think, chat? Cycloid's got those ramming spikes right down the center.
Yeah, that could just get the T connector, but that's only if they meet up head-on.
Yes. Cycloid moves side to side quite a lot.
Yeah, Exceptionally could easily just move to the side and take those off over time, so...
And Exceptionally Gifted is very good at wearing its opponents down.
Yes, it is.
So we've seen Cycloid doesn't like going in long fights.
It really doesn't know.
Chat is predicting mostly Exceptionally Gifted for this one. Helen is preparing to get that drink. Okay. Middleweight time. With the mob leading by 3. Exceptionally Gifted strikes and backs away. Cycloid has pushed it against the wall and is attacking that battering ram.
Just trying to take the battering ram out.
Trying to go
spikes in the middle. Both spikes in the middle already gone.
Trying to go weapon to weapon is not working out for Cycloid. It's losing its chassis protection. It is finally getting through some of.
Ooh, bit of a driving mistake there, though.
And Exceptionally Gifted lands a huge ram right to the chassis. And
now
Cycloid's gotten past the wheel guards and is getting to the chassis.
Both wheels and most of the battering ram. Although it's starting to lose some of its axes.
Exceptionally Gifted coming apart here against Cycloid. And the last of the battering ram is gone. It's going to push Cycloid towards the grinder zone. And Cycloid is going to relentlessly pursue Exceptionally Gifted. It's trying to land the KO shot, and there it is in 62 seconds to tie the match up.
Cycloid responds with its own knockout. Also,
that was a slugfest.
Yes, I filed that under Fight of the Week just in case. That was still pretty good.
And crucially, that's a lot of damage points for Sinister.
Yes, it is. Oh, boy.
Okay. The heavyweights. Relentless Heartburn has been relentless.
It has.
It's been destructive with those vertical spinners. It is fighting Omnipresence, which has been more destructive with the sit and spin flails. We've already seen one sit and spinner win for the Syndicate. What do you think of this fight, chat, between Relentless Heartburn and Omnipresence? I think Relentless Heartburn doesn't have a whole lot of defense from the side.
It does not, but crucially, it is four-wheel drive. That's crucial for getting sit and spinner stopped. So
it also has a ground game.
Yes, so like, if it's able to get it stopped and snipe a wheel, it's got a really good chance.
Helen thinks Omnipresence might be Relentless Antacid.
It's possible.
Chat seems to be on the side of Sinister Creations' Omnipresence. Razor just realized one father will determine the championship.
It will indeed, and it's fighting a robot that's mostly chassis.
Heavyweight fight in this tied championship match between two of the most destructive heavyweights.
Ooh, Physics threw a fit on that one, and yeah, that's a restart.
That's just a straight up restart.
If it did the full flip, that would have been cool.
Omnipresence not playing well with physics today.
And yep, another one. I swear to fuck.
I'm ready just in case.
And
Okay, the flail
they
stayed
got
attached
back
this time.
Now Omnipresence is up to speed. They're kind of dueling weapons here, actually.
Yeah, Relentless Heartburn content to just de-weapon Omnipresence.
Yeah, it's not getting anything on the side. Pretty
All
much
the flails are coming apart.
Yeah, it's just the static spikes left.
So Relentless Heartburn with a fantastic strategy here. To de-weapon Omnipresence first and then go in.
Yeah. Well, Omnipresence is still repelling
wheel
it and getting
off
a
of the
wheel.
side. However, Relentless Heartburn still has all of its weapon power.
Omnipresence is down to one of its static spikes.
I think Relentless
And-
Heartburn's
oh.
lost some of those, a lot of those spikes off of that
Yeah.
vertical spinner.
Now, Omnipresence has switched to Rammer now that the spikes are gone, but it has the weaponry in the middle, and it's de-weaponing Relentless Heartburn.
Who's pushing back and going for the wheels.
Yes, it is. And Omnipresence can't really move.
Omnipresence
Without
without the drive power to get away, as it's taking this grinding damage directly to one of its wheels.
And there it goes.
So now Omnipresence, half of its drive, and Relentless Heartburn's going for the other one.
Just keeping it trapped as much as it can.
Relentless Heartburn struggling with its weaponry being torn apart. Grinding away at the side of Omnipresence. They've locked into this microwave.
Yeah, they have.
Omnipresence trying to turn with its only remaining wheel. Relentless Heartburn trying to drive forward into it. Look at the debris strewn around the
Yes.
arena.
The Roombas are going to be working overtime in this one.
This has been one of the most destructive fights of the playoffs. And I feel like Relentless Heartburn is padding its damage points.
Pretty much just
in
grinding
this.
here.
Just grinding away at the side of Omnipresence. But if it can't seal this, it's got 30
It's only going
seconds.
to be 1 point, though.
I swear to God, if Relentless Heartburn wins a judge's decision and then One Father loses a judge's decision,
Fucking hell.
oh my goodness.
That would be
That-
fun for a close match, but fucking hell.
That is potentially what we could be looking at with
Yeah,
8
'cause
seconds to go.
Looks like these two are going to go the
Judges, get
distance.
your scorecards ready. This is a judge's decision in the heavyweights with
in the
two of the
championship
most
match.
destructive robots.
Oh, and they put up similar totals, too. Everyone was rooting for the RAV Omnipresence one to be 20,000. This is 22.
Oh my goodness. So, that means... Uh-oh.
Oh.
Yes, yes.
Can you see us now? Are we back?
No, we're not. Do that. See if that helps. I can't believe it. The last fight.
Literally the last one. Come on.
This is bullshit.
God. Why?
If this doesn't work, I'll restart Strict Labs.